Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pipeline Podcast, episode 115. This is a very special episode of the Pipeline Podcast because the Arrowverse, I guess, as we know it, is over, which is a big deal, at least for me and my channel, because that's where I got my start. And everyone I have here today, I don't think I would have met any of you guys if it wasn't for these shows and my love for them, which is pretty crazy. So I want to go one by one, introduce all of these amazing folks. First of all, we have Connor /Exit over here. You know him, you love him.
Hey,
he's
what's
on the
up?
channel all the time. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, it's going pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Good. I don't think you actually left from last week. You just stayed in the studio.
Yeah, I was just here the whole time. It's the whole full 7 days.
Here now. Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
We have DCTV legend within the YouTube community, the DCTV show, or Ben's Takes now, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah. Good to be on. Yeah. Sad times, but is the way it is.
No, it's crazy. I mean, that's been what your channel has been for years now, right? So it's probably hard to pivot to something else.
Yeah, literally. But that's why I changed my name. So
that's fair. Yeah. We have a great friend of the channel, Adriel. How's it going, Adriel?
Hello. Yes, yeah. Just to make sure, I know there's a lot of confusion. Featuring my fiance, who's crinkling a whole bunch of food.
Love it. And we have Joypad Jake. Welcome, Jake. How's it going?
Going good. Thank you for having me on again.
Absolutely. I mean, again, it's a crazy time. We've all been watching these shows for me, it's as long as I can remember at this point. I don't even know when. Probably going on not 10 years, but close maybe. When did everyone kind of start watching all of the shows?
I was gonna say for me,
season 1.
I discovered it in the middle of Arrow season 2, so that was mid 2013.
Mine was end of Flash season 1.
Okay. Yeah, same.
I've been here since Arrow season 1, and technically here since Smallville, but I'm watching since Arrow season 1.
Ooh,
OG.
Right.
I think I was it's hard because I was watching them on Netflix and stuff, so it's hard to know exactly where it lined up. I think it was I think I got caught up with everything. It was Flash season 5, Arrow season 5, Flash season 3 at the time, I think.
Yeah, that would have been 3, yeah.
That era of DCTV and stuff.
They were showing Arrow season 1 over here on Sky One a week after it would air in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Remember we'd get ads for it for ages, and it was always showing the nobody can know my secret trailer or whatever, constantly. Yeah, it was really fun.
One of my friends was so excited for Arrow whenever it started airing that he literally possessed a pirated copy of the pilot. Maybe you shouldn't admit that here, but what are you gonna do? It's long done now. And
I won't snitch. It's fine.
But the first things that I ever saw live were, like I said, caught Arrow in the middle of season 2, got caught up then. So Arrow season 3, Flash season 1 were the first times I started watching them live week to week. And you had to figure out the airing order every year because it was different.
Yeah, always switching those days up.
Yeah. I remember it was always hard when my friends would ask me okay, so what how do I watch the crossover events? What order?
No.
All right, this one on Netflix and this one on HBO Max and this one, on the CW app. It was always hard to line them up for them.
Especially if there was a certain show they didn't watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we had the series finale of Superman Lois. Actually, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm so sorry. I like asking my guests things that they've watched over the last week. Now, obviously, there's a lot of us here, so we can't spend too much time on it. But has anybody watched anything fun or played any games or comics or whatever recently that they would love to share?
Arcane. Oh my god, that show is incredible.
Need to see the new season.
Yeah, the new season just ended, and I mind blown by how crazy good that show is.
Sure. So. I started season 1 this week. I gave up in season the first time it aired. I'm you know what? I need to try it again. I hear it's amazing. I gave up on it too fast, but it's good. Yeah, it's good. I'm excited to find what the hype is all about.
Yeah.
Kind of what the. It's kind of crazy. It's over now, right? They did 2 seasons and they're done, right?
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah, but they said that they were going. they
No.
said they were gonna do like other
Spin-offs.
spin-off shows
okay.
about it, so
Right.
it's
Like
like the
reruns
world of
and-
it is not technically over, but the
Okay.
show itself is over.
Right, it's like a Walking Dead type thing where like the main show
Exactly.
ends, but there's
Oh,
like
cool.
spin-offs
Sure.
attached to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um,
Ben, you watch a lot of like new movies and stuff. Like you go to a lot of festivals. Is there any that you're allowed to talk about?
Well, what did I watch recently? I watched the new Nosferatu film.
Oh,
How is
cool.
it?
Oh, okay.
It's really good. I
Really excited for that.
really loved it. It's probably my
excited for that one.
favorite film this year.
Oh,
Wow.
I would say.
That's what
Just-
I'm anticipating for me.
Yeah. You just got to watch it as soon as it comes out because it's that. Like, honestly, yeah. I
It's
don't. want to spoil
January
it,
here. We
so-
got-
It's
But-
right at Christmas, right?
Yeah, for you
Yeah,
guys.
here. Yeah.
Ireland might be January.
I think it is. Yeah, I keep seeing like January 10th or something like that coming up for it.
Yeah, so that's what I watched.
Hell yeah. Connor, do you have any fun things that you've watched?
I saw Wicked last night.
What do you
I
I
think?
like Wicked.
Hey, what was that?
I like this
Um, well, I haven't seen Wizard of Oz, so that probably.
I haven't seen the Wizard.
No, I know it's like it's like
Yeah,
the
that's
biggest
same.
film of all that I haven't seen. I would say like the most iconic film I haven't seen. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was
Okay.
fun, like a very colorful film.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was curious to kind of hear your thoughts on, especially someone who hasn't seen like The Wizard of Oz. Like that is like out of all the things you haven't watched, and like you're the guy, like
Yeah.
in my mind, who has seen everything. Like if I haven't seen something, you probably have. Like you've seen everything in my mind. So it's like
No,
you
in
haven't seen
college,
it.
everybody like would make fun of me for not seeing it. They were like, "How have you not seen this film?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I never have." I do need to though. I might watch it out of.
Go
I
watch
can
it,
go
yeah.
back and do it. Yeah, yeah.
It might be the first like live action movie I watched as like a kid. Like
Oh wow.
I'm not sure if it is, but it's the first one that I like remember sitting down and watching, and probably shouldn't have watched because like as a kid it's kind of scary. Like it's
Yeah.
It's a
little
little
bit.
bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Jake.
Well, Creature Commandos just started, and
Oh.
That's right.
yeah, that they have started off strong. Let me go ahead and tell you there. Going into that series, I knew I had background knowledge on maybe two of the characters just from the various things I've read. So, I was optimistic, but also I remembered I was like, you know what? As I've had my issues with things Gunn's done in the past, but he does have a talent for taking these, who asked for this type characters and concepts and making it into something that people likes. So the first two episodes that we've seen so far have nailed it. And I'm excited to see what he has, what is going to be the rest of it. And then that is going to pave the way to Superman. So
Yeah,
What's the release schedule for Creature Commandos, by the way?
it's one a week for the next 6 weeks, I
Yep.
think.
But they
Yep.
dropped 2 last night, right?
Yeah. It's
Yep.
it's 2 this week, and then next 5 weeks is going to be.
Yep.
All right, I got to get on that.
and then it
Yeah.
ends like right at the start of January.
Okay.
Amazing. I'm very much excited for it. Hello, Chainsaw. How's it going?
Hey.
I don't know much about DC. I decided to come in.
Oh no.
Yeah,
too,
the
buddy.
shirt
Don't
you're
worry about
wearing
it.
is
Don't worry
definitely
about
not DC.
No, that's Marvel. Yeah, that's Marvel.
Yeah.
I love that Marvel character.
Yeah,
Yeah, this guy's a Marvel character.
100%.
Oh yeah.
What are we talking about?
We were we were just talking about some of our things that we watched lately or read or played.
Oh.
Like, is there any fun things that you've been watching?
Started doing Prophecy a couple days ago. Obviously watching Ben 10, you know that.
What's Ben 10?
I never heard that. I don't know. I watched this finale of a show this week. What is it called? Lois and Man Super, I think.
I've never heard
Name
of it.
No.
Never
Yeah,
heard of it.
it was a really crappy finale. There was no tears. It was very boring. Like whatever.
Sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, boring.
I think it stars Dean Cain.
Oh, whoa! Calm down there, boy. Can I do some breaking news here? I just found this out 2 minutes ago. Can I do some
Okay.
breaking news right now?
Yeah.
It's related to the DC, so we're not going off
Okay.
topic. A little guy named Alex Garfin, Jordan Kent.
Mhm.
I'm interviewing him tomorrow.
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
There you go.
I'm only going to ask him just about Arrowverse, nothing Superman and Lois. I'm just going to ask specifically about shows he's not been on.
Yeah.
Let's see how it
Cool.
goes.
Question 1, why aren't you in Stargirl? All right. why
Yeah,
aren't you in
question
Flash?
2, why were you not in Arrow? Question 3, where's Melissa Benoist? What happened?
Mhm.
What's going on?
Yep.
Yeah.
That
He
blew
just
off
made
great.
an announcement like 2-3 days ago saying that he's going to be traveling to a lot of cons next
I
year.
saw
so-
that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening because literally he can't do anything this weekend. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
so I was trying to rush, like, and I kind of like, I was like, trying not to message the publicist too much. I'm like, can you confirm, please?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It would be cool to meet him. He seems cool. So.
Yeah, he seems very
Yeah,
nice,
fun.
and yeah, can't wait to ask him just season 1 questions, nothing else.
I saw like a TikTok that he made a couple days ago. That's like any like someone asked him like any chance we get like a Superboy show. I was
Yeah, I
like,
saw
would have
that
been
too.
cool.
He's like-
I saw that
but-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been cool in like
Saw that
another
number.
world or whatever. Like that. I mean, that was always my pitch. Like when the show was first getting started, I was like, okay, do 5-6 seasons of like a Superman Lois, and then maybe you could
Yeah.
pivot to like a Superboy show or whatever.
Mhm.
But obviously, didn't go that way. But also,
CW.
but that's a great transition into like our first kind of thing here. Superman Lois wrapped up its 4th and final season, which concluded the DCTV era on the CW. What, 23 years
23
straight? of-
years. Yeah.
23 years.
Yeah,
That's
one.
right.
Crazy. It's really
Old.
crazy. Like as long as I've been really into movies and TV, like from like what middle school was when I really started getting into this stuff. Like there's always been new Arrowverse stuff to watch, new
Yeah.
DCTV stuff to watch. Let's just start off though. Like, how are we feeling now that it's over? Like now that it's all done, what's the current how are we dealing with it and stuff like that?
Existential dread.
Yeah.
Literally. Quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling like this era of DC is it's over, but it's not gonna lose its importance. I don't think. I think there was
No.
so much they did. Yeah, there's some bad stuff. We could definitely talk about that, but we don't need to. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of good that this universe did. And yeah, Superman and Lois wasn't connected, but it still was a great show in connection to the wider DC. Because we wouldn't have Tyler Hoechlin or Betsy Tolik if it wasn't for them in the crossovers beforehand.
Right.
We wouldn't have had them.
Nope.
So, yeah, it is sad, but at the same time, what a ride. And
Yeah.
people saying good riddance, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
You clearly didn't really watch this stuff, you know?
Right.
No.
I don't think.
Right.
And he was brought into the role at a time where WB was going to shelve Superman and bury the character. Like they were through
Yeah.
with him.
That's
And
part of their life.
CW actually stuck to their guns. And, despite your issues about how they might have wrote to him prior to his own show, they still held on. And we ended up getting one of the better DC properties over the past couple of years.
100%.
You could say DC continues to stick to their guns. Sorry about that.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
I'm leaving.
Dad
Well, that's gonna
Aaron
get
is
me.
making an appearance again.
I
That's
saw
it.
that coming right as soon as I said it.
How about you, Ben? You've obviously like been covering these shows for such a long time. It's been a big part of your channel and stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
how are you feeling?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it was sad, obviously, watching it, but very happy that it was so good. But I guess for me, I kind of already accepted that it was over, like before. Like with the Flash, I was like, okay, like the Arrowverse is over. We've got Superman and Lois. Let's enjoy the final season. So I feel like I already kind of dealt with that, But also, we have a lot to look forward to with the DCU and everything. So it's not like if we had nothing and it was just like films coming out, like DC films, which I love. But, we're getting like TV shows, Creature Commandos coming out this week. And, they're working on Lanterns. Like there's cool projects coming. So I think, it's a shame that it had to end. But,
Yeah.
it's been a good run. And Superman Lois was probably, in my opinion, probably topped all the other Arrowverse shows. And it ended on probably the best series finale I've seen in a while. So
Yeah.
It was really good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I was kind of in that point too of just like, okay, Flash is over. It's all disconnected from here, and I can just enjoy the final season. And then I think Tom Cavanaugh appeared this season, and I think it took me back, be like, oh no, it's not over. He's here. It's all part of the multiverse. He's whatever. like I think it's very funny that Arrowverse fans, while we know it's not Wells, we're like, but it's Wells, right? Like
It's
just
got to be a
Wells.
variant of them, right? Like,
Absolutely.
through the
It
rules.
should have been. Yeah.
Could have been.
Yep. Someone said at the end of his episode, he should have like the red eyes and then zoomed off.
Oh,
Like they
whoa.
didn't say anything. Like
That'd be
what?
crazy.
His goals are beyond our understanding.
Mhm.
That would have been funny.
How did we feel about the final season of Superman and Lois? Because obviously, again, it's the end of an era. It's the last one of these. I've heard I actually think it's very interesting. Like we'll probably rank the seasons in a little bit here, but it's really cool to see such a shuffle in terms of where people are placing this season.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people's favorite season and some people's least favorite seasons. In the middle for some people. How did we feel about this final season?
I don't got a good response for this one, guys. So you gotta go.
I'll just say I was worried going into it because of everything we knew. The fact that it was going to be a shortened season, shortened cast. They got budget cuts halfway through, and of course, you had the initial reports that it wasn't going to feature Dylan Walsh at all until that got changed. And despite all the hiccups they had and all the production troubles they faced, they actually used that to their advantage and told really concise, thought together stories. Now, was it perfect through and through? No, I won't say that. There's one or two. There's maybe 1, 2 at max 3 episodes in there where I'm like, that could have been a little bit better.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's managed to keep its quality relatively consistent, which not a lot of the other DCCW shows can say.
Sure.
I agree. You can definitely tell there's budget cuts for sure, and the cast, a lot of them just disappearing for times. You're they could be here, but obviously budget. But I think what the beauty of the show was leading up to season 4, they had enough of episodes and storylines in seasons 1 through 3, more human based and grounded stories that it wasn't too jarring when you had a lot of that in this season because they've already done it. It's just if going in, because there's probably a number of people who watch the show who had no idea what's happening. They're just oh, they're just not showing up as much. Okay, Lex is the focus. All right, whatever. But if you know, then it's obvious. But if you're not, if you don't know and you kind of just turn your brain off, which obviously you can if you already know this shit, it's still good. It's still stuck the landing. I mean, look, they could have easily dropped the ball with 10 episodes. Oh my God, how are they going to wrap this up in 10 episodes? Well, they had a lot of stuff, I think, kind of hanging out there. That's why they did the whole last 10 minutes of jumping ahead to kind of wrap up some stuff.
Yeah.
But they did the best they could. And that's all we could ask for. So,
yeah.
What has made me really respect, looking at the final episode and what really, they care about this show a lot, is when you have that camera crew in episode 7, that being the actual camera crew, when you have those kids in the final episode be the kid, the cast and the crew's actual children, when you have Betsy's real life husband coming in, it's this isn't just a job for them. They really, really love this, and they are putting in their own resources and their own passions into this just to get it done, to get it out there. It would have been so easy for them to be you know what, let's just drop our egg, let's get it done, let's just wrap it up and get out of here. But no, they really, really care about it, and I think that's something special.
100%.
I think they did such a good job on the final season. For me, you could tell, all right, that certain characters, John Henry's not showing up when he could have helped early on, but we all knew that. And so I just kind of accepted that early on. And to be honest, I was very happy with how the action scenes went down. Doomsday looked great. There wasn't, for me, I didn't really feel like a drop at all. Yeah, you might have had some characters not showing up, but it was still that same Superman Lois that you loved. So I think they did a really, really good job. And for me, I think this might be my favorite season. I just thought it was so consistent throughout the whole show. And for me, I know you guys didn't like all the episodes, but I didn't have one episode where I was I didn't enjoy that. I really enjoyed the whole season.
There's not a bad episode in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. I didn't think the episode was bad. There were just,
weaker. Okay, episode 4 with Kyle and Christy. We didn't need it. I'm sorry.
That's one episode I feel like we didn't need.
Yeah.
But it wasn't detracting at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. There were still things they did that was outside of that, but I understand why they did it, because they end the season 3, one of the, I guess not a cliffhanger, but the proposal. So we had to address that. I understand. So, and I get it, but for me, it's hey, we could have spent more time doing something else, but to each their own. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
No, I get that. And But also then I compare it to like The Flash when they would do like an Allegra episode or something. I'd be like, that really takes away from the show. So you make a comparison.
Like, they were the best episodes.
Especially when it's in the final season.
Ben, I don't know if you got the memo, but we're talking positives, not negatives today. We're not talking about
Negatives. Is that a Flash reference? You know, the negatives.
oh,
Oh my God.
There's always something.
Yeah.
Always.
On Ben's point too about Doomsday, just really quick. Even with the budget cuts that this season had, they still ended up showing Doomsday a lot more than I thought they would.
A lot.
Oh,
yeah.
Considering how
Well,
expensive he is.
There's a lot of shots where it's repeats and he's just kind of standing.
Right,
But
yeah.
I get,
Yeah.
well, they also did like comic accurate Doomsday.
Yep.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
design,
that's great.
holy
Yeah.
crap!
So good.
Whew.
The Doomsday Superman fight in episode 1 is like the best looking like
Oh, yeah.
Superman Doomsday fight we've ever had.
Like 4+ minutes.
Yeah, but when they announced the budget cuts, I really convinced myself, okay, we're not seeing Doomsday. Like they're just gonna
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Too,
Superman's gonna be dead, and then we're gonna figure out what happens next. I was like very happy with how much Doomsday we got.
Mm-hmm. Adriel, what's your kind of take on this whole season?
I mean, these gorgeous looking men pretty much have just taken exactly what I've said, like what I've been thinking pretty much. It's just like it. Yeah, you do notice the hole that could have easily been filled by John Henry and Lana and like those characters. And I do feel like I'm somewhat in the minority of like, I actually do like all of those characters, sometimes much more than the Kent storylines occasionally. So I do feel like there was a lot missing, but it didn't really feel like that big of a deal to me at the end of the day. Because that by the time I got to the season, I was like, yeah, I noticed that they were gone, but I still got a really quality, good season focused on the Kent family. And if there was any season that it had to be focused only on the Kents, it would be the Death of Superman story.
Yeah.
Like it would have to be that. I don't want to hear Kyle's thoughts on the Death of Superman.
And of course, he had to be the one to be there when he fell over. His heart was given. I'm like, God, why?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that was going to be my next question to you guys is like, that finale is like such an insane, like or dislike that episode, because I've heard some differing opinions on what it actually did. One of the more insane finales I've seen in a very long time. Like it's a ballsy finale. So like
it left like no questions pretty much on like what
no,
happens.
I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I love that. Like I love finality and endings like a lot of the time. Like I think like in terms of an ending, like I do not think I would have preferred any other way for this show to go, because it's always focused on Clark and Lois. It's focused on them as characters, and like season 3 was all about Lois dealing with, you know, her mortality and stuff like that. And now season 4 is the same with Clark. Like I think this is how it ends. It's just you show their entire lives. Like
I think it was perfect. Just the way that it really brought out the humanity that they've been exploring for all these seasons. And you know, you can compare it to other series finales, and there are other endings like the optimistic ending in The Flash with, you know, getting the new speedsters and everything, or Supergirl revealing herself to the world. You know, it's interesting. I like it, but that kind of gives you as a fan more to think about afterwards, which is cool, right? Like you theorize about it and you're like, oh, that could be cool. But I think, like you said, Connor, like the finality of it, like I really like that, because we like properly ended the show, and it's like, no, that's it.
And I think it makes sense for this show because, like, unlike The Flash, we know a lot of stuff that happens in the future in terms of, like, we know Nora and Bart, we know about that. So if they would have done that in this show, we would have, we already know that Nora and Bart come along. So we already know that happens. So what could you exactly do? And there's a lot of discussion about this finale in terms of like being one of the best DC, like, final episodes, like a series finale. This might be one of the best endings to a show I've ever seen.
I agree.
It's to me, I think it's transcended comic book like television endings. Like I think it's better than that. Like,
and I just jumping onto your point, like what I realized was the difference with this show and the other shows is this kind of ended in its prime, like when it was getting like really good. And so by not giving them a season 5, letting them go to 6, 7, 8, like you know, they might have stretched out their storytelling by then,
Sure.
you know, and it gets like, oh, maybe you have a
Yeah,
Arrow
well,
season 4.
Yeah.
well, Arrow had a 4th season, Flash had a 4th season, and there's a lot of discussions about how that's where things started to go downhill for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but this show didn't. But I think it's because I think they probably planned it out better. Plus,
Yeah.
when Arrow and Flash started, they had 23 episodes per season.
Mhm.
This show had 15 its first season.
Right.
Yeah.
Very different. Plus, they didn't just use their main big villains up front. They
Right.
saved Lex till the end. Because Lex, if this was made back in the Arrow Flash 2012, 13, 14, Lex
Lex would
would
be
have
on the
been
team by now. He'd
would
be
have
on
been-
Team Superman.
Lex would have been season 1.
Yeah.
And then you went,
Yeah.
okay, who's next? Oh, I guess we'll just do, and then that'd be season 2. And then eventually you're running out of things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with the shows.
I would always see these discussions that say that like they would really praise Superman and Lois for how they'd been in the early seasons. This is before the 4th season even started. And a lot of people would play devil's advocate and say, well, yeah, but remember early Arrow and early Flash, how they started out really strong too and then dwindled. I said, true, but to counter that point, like you were saying, there's less episodes in the seasons, and Superman and Lois was ending before it had the chance to overstay its welcome and get stale. Because by the
Yeah,
time
that's right.
Flash ended, a lot of people were tired of it, and
Mhm.
just use that as an example.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, it just didn't have time to get stale. And by having those less episodes, it's more concise. They can get to the point. You know, they can plan it out, as you said, a lot better than stretching a story over 23 episodes, or like The Flash did, split it into 2 stories, which I never liked. I didn't like that they split into 2 stories.
Yeah.
So.
And you can actually utilize the budgets better because that's less episodes you're having to pay your actors for.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think like Summer Lois has had a different template than the other shows, where it's like you very much knew what to expect. Like, oh, okay, they're gonna open the show, and then a metahuman will appear, and they take down the metahuman. Where like I feel like Summer Lois they were able to do more with the budget, more with these storylines, because they were much more. Not to say the others weren't character focused, but we had characters in place where it's like, okay, what are these kids going to be up to on their day-to-day life? Hey, like I feel like there's a much stronger focus on, I don't know, just like what it means to be human in a way where I feel like you can tell those stories a little bit differently. And I think you can like do more with these characters with that instead of just being like, okay, this is the arc this season. And in season 2 being like, oh shit, that was the arc. Now what do we
Yeah.
Now what do we do? I don't know. Just have the same thing for the next 5 seasons, I guess. So
Oh, yeah, I
don't know.
mean, knowing if Superman and Lois was taking place in the old Arrowverse template, Death of Superman would have been done in like an episode.
Yeah.
He would have died and came back in the same episode.
And then
Sure.
like that,
Love
and then also the cancer stuff from season 3, that could have been handled so much worse.
Oh,
If
I
it
don't.
was- it
Yeah,
was
I
done
think
with
that's
those
one of the
shows.
greatest things any comic book storyline has ever, like any comic book TV show has ever done in
I
a
agree.
season, is how they handled the Lois stuff in season 3. Like it's
Yeah.
so human and so real, and it's like, it feels like something no other comic book show would want to touch.
You could
because they
you could
never do it.
totally tell that it was taken place like that. Writing was taken from a personal event.
Right.
Someone in the writers' room definitely had to deal with that personally, and they put all of their heart into that.
Mhm.
100%.
That was the biggest shock in the finale for me. It comes back. I'm like, oh God. Like,
Well,
that
you
was
knew
actually-
they had to gut punch you. They had to
Yeah.
do something.
Right.
because-
Yep.
Yeah.
because they were building up. Oh, we got older. The kids grew up. We got
Yeah.
grandkids.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting better.
I was like, something's gonna
Until the
happen.
cancer came back. I'm like,
Right. And
Destroyed me.
yeah,
Because,
that's what
like-
I love about storytelling. Like when you want something bad to happen to characters, I'm not saying you want that, but it's when something's good it's happening. Like that's how you create tension and that's how you
Mhm.
create build up.
well, it's like
Yeah.
it's like if you watching like say Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, they give you something good and then they're going to take it away. Oh, they're
Mhm.
gonna get. They're taking because they're gonna kill off characters. They're gonna do something that's gonna
Yeah.
screw you. Like, oh, something good's happening. Death.
We're taking notes out of Zoom's book, giving us hope just to take it away.
Well, that's Zoom for you.
Like
Zoom
it-
should have popped into this season. That's what should have happened. Yeah.
crazy.
That's what should have happened. Actually, yep.
And Rain.
Absolutely.
Rest in peace, Tony Todd.
Tony Todd. Yeah, exactly. Legendary.
Yeah, no, like I didn't like. It wasn't even on my bingo card for like Lois to get her cancer back and die. Like in my head, like me and Connor and my friend Taz as well were talking about like, okay, yeah, Superman could die this season. Like that is definitely on the table. I wasn't sure yet if that's the way they're gonna go. Never crossed my mind once that Lois would die.
You
And
did actually mention that. I remember on my stream, you said you could see them doing like a bittersweet ending. I remember.
Yeah.
You said
Yeah,
something
for
like
sure.
that.
Yeah, no, it's so like to have that where it's like you watch an entire season, Lois fighting this battle, fighting back, and she wins. There's that moment where she rings the bell at the end of last season. It's like so good, and then that'd be like, but just like the real life, that can get
And it's
taken away
like it's
from you in a
real.
second.
Like it's just
Yeah.
it's a human thing to happen. Like that's what makes it so good. Like that it's just you feel it, you know.
Did she live for like maybe like 30 years longer, or was it? I don't know how.
Like I would say, like
it's 26 years longer, and then Clark lived for an extra 6 years after that. So 32 years.
Yeah.
And like that's a really good. It's a really nice parallel to what you saw in the beginning of the season. Whenever she sees his body and she's holding it, she goes, "This wasn't supposed to happen before me." It's like, damn it, they tied it back around, and they hit and they earned it.
Yeah, no, and like I love, like, as depressing as it is, and also I do think it has a really nice hopeful ending, maybe more hopeful if this all didn't happen to Clark, because like what's the alternative? Clark has to outlive Lois by what, hundreds of years, or outlive his kids and his grandkids. Like that sucks. I don't want to see that. That's
horrible.
terrible. So I almost feel like I think there's a nice parallel to like Lex did kill Superman, technically, like he did kill Superman, but almost like viewing it as like a gift. So like that moment when he puts his hand on Lex, being like, "I forgive you." It's almost like this sucks, but also you also kind of gave me something at the same time in a nice way.
Because he didn't say it that way at the time. Here's my question. I wonder if what the original plan was for season 4, if they didn't have the budget cuts and it's the final season. I wonder what they had planned.
Yeah.
Because maybe they had this whole heart thing where he gets Lane's heart or someone's heart that isn't Kryptonian. And then we just kind of live out the rest of the show knowing that he's getting weaker and that the boys are stepping up. Maybe that's what the plan was, but
like you would slowly see those effects over the remaining seasons, however many there were.
Because he only started to heal when he was right next to the sun in the finale. Other than that, he was like having difficulties healing at all.
Yeah, losing it all pretty much, the power wise.
Yeah, it is, and I feel like that's my only thing this season has been like I've loved it for the majority, but like there are little things in my ear that's like, but what if they could have done this, and what if they could have done this? It's like you see these alternate paths in front of you, but like they could have had this John Henry Iron and Lex Luthor like dynamic, or you could have had John take up for Superman, or we could have seen the boys like train more together and stuff like that. Yeah, there's so much, and then like you hear Todd be like, "Oh yeah, we wanted to do Brainiac, we wanted to do Dark Side, and we have these little things here." It's like, man, we were so close to getting some really, really cool things, but
I don't know. Talking about John Henry Irons though, holy God, that last bit where you see that last conversation between him and Lois, you are a man of steel. I mean, damn it, they actually succeeded in giving us like not just a better version of Steel than what we got in the 90s prior, because that's not hard. But like,
what about Shaq?
Exactly, that's not hard.
It's not hard.
I think it's going to be hard to surpass this version of Steel now, like for whoever comes next.
Yeah, this is the bar for sure.
I love how they set him up to be Lex, which honestly I would have been very interested to see an alternate version of Lex from another universe, which is what they were doing. But it's actually not,
because like at that time we thought it was still Earth Prime, so we thought, okay, where does this Luthor from?
And that's even like the more not frustrating, but like when I see the parallels of like, okay, season 1 is Captain Luthor coming in to kill Superman, and then the 4th season is like Luthor comes in and kills Superman. I really wanted the parallels of being like, this is what I almost did to your family. I almost came here, killed Superman, and caused all this pain. And like, I think that dynamic would have been really cool. Where like, now it's my responsibility to step up because he was here for me, and now I have to step up and be that again. Like, I can talk all that stuff, be like, oh, we could have got this or whatever. But like, I am so happy. Like I've said on here so many times, so many shows did not get this opportunity to go out on their own terms. Like, just pull out like the giant list of shows on the CW, and I guess just even in general, in like the current state of television where everything gets canceled now, it's like they got to go out on their own terms in some way, shape, or form. So I'm really happy for that.
Well, not
Yeah.
even
It
just
is kinda-
shows, like not many live action Superman have gotten to go out on their own terms either.
Right.
I
Because,
was gonna say that.
this
Yeah.
is the only one where you really actually get to see his ending. Because I mean,
His full life.
Ralph, Cavill, Welling, Reeve, like we never really got to see their conclusions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he's a better Superman for it because he has that whole story,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
proper ending and everything. So you can be like,
Yeah.
okay, like if you compare him, obviously we all have our own opinions, but I think for me over the years and now he's cemented himself as one of the best Supermen.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there's no denying that.
There's a connection to him, like you know, starting with the monologue in the pilot, where we get the beginning of his story, and then we get the monologue in the finale with the end of his story. Like you're with him for that entire journey of his entire life now. So there's much more of a connection than, like, for me personally, than with like Cavill's Superman or Kane's Superman or
Yeah.
any of those ones, because you
Kind of
you
talks
see
to
just
you,
glimpses.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
more personal, I feel, than the other Superman. So,
Absolutely. And, you know, there's also something to be said. Obviously, Welling did this as well, but like there is something to be said about a TV show format. Like you literally get to wake up with Superman every episode, be like, okay, what's today's adventure going to be?
Right.
What's that going to be? And like I remember I said this on my stream I did the other day, but like I remember when Tyler appeared on the Supergirl episode, I was like, he's going to get his own series. They're going to give him his own show. I just felt it.
Mhm.
And then when Betsy appeared in Elseworlds, I followed Betsy on Twitter and put like the bell on her page because I was like, they're going to announce a show with these two
It's gonna
characters.
happen.
I felt it. I was like, it's going to happen. They're too good not to. So when they announced it, I was like, yes, this is destiny. This was destiny calling to me. It's crazy. Like I feel like I wasn't there when Arrow first started or when the Flash first started or Legends or Supergirl, but I was there when Tyler put on the cape for the first time. So I there is like that nostalgia for me a little bit. But like I was there day one. Like I wasn't there for some of these other shows. So.
yeah.
And
I
that's the
definitely have that for like Supergirl. I remember watching it on the first day it came out, and I remember like telling people, "Oh, you should watch Supergirl. Like it's Greg Berlanti, it's linked, and they're going to do a Flash crossover." And so, yeah, for me, nostalgia for that as well.
Yeah.
Legends starting when it came out. So.
Mhm.
Even though I didn't love Legends by the end, but you know,
that's one of the beautiful things I think about this universe is that, like, you know, everybody has their own different things that they can hold on to. You know, like everybody's
100%.
not gonna agree on the same thing. People are gonna have different opinions on it, but it's got a way to bring a wide multitude of fans in, which is what the comics do in the first place. Everybody has their one thing that they gravitate to.
Yeah.
So
100%.
the fact that the shows managed to achieve that on their own level was
Mhm.
pretty amazing.
I agree. And yeah, I think that's actually a really good transition. I have like a series of different questions like revolving around these DCTV shows, our favorite this, our blank that. I'm really excited to get into it. This is, I think, a good transitional one though. What is your favorite season of Superman and Lois, and or how would you rank the seasons? So obviously this one's a lot easier than it would be to rank some of the other Arrowverse seasons, but
Right.
I don't know
Seven
about those.
seasons of Flash.
yeah. What is everyone's favorite season of Superman and Lois, and then we can go down and talk like where we put them.
Season one is mine. I love season one so much. It's one of my favorite seasons of TV of all time.
Just to be different, 3.
No,
He's all-
no shade there.
One.
How about you, Ben?
I had to think about it. Yeah.
I need to rewatch, but I'm just going to be different. I'll say season 4.
Whoa.
Okay.
And I think that's fair. I think
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. No one said season 2.
Yeah.
Well, season 2, just that's the only issue
Yeah.
with the show for me. I didn't really like Ali and that story.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else was good around it.
Yeah. Right.
It just like stands out like a sore thumb. Like I don't think
Story
season
was
2 is
great.
bad at all. I just
Same.
think it's easily the weakest. Like I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
weakest and bad I think sometimes gets mixed up a little bit where it's like it's not bad. It's not a bad season. It's just
It was still a good
clearly the
one.
weakest.
Right. Yeah.
I think I changed my answer. Season 5.
Oh hell yeah.
Got
It
the one
was
with
in the
Stargirl
future.
in it.
Yeah. Stargirl, Flash. Oliver shows up as a Spectre. It's great.
Oh, cool.
Love it.
Ranking wise, what would you guys rank?
You want to start the rankings, Darren?
Yeah, sure. I'd go season 1, season 3, I think, season 4, and then season 2, I'd say. How about you, Connor? Just
I am the
go down
exact
list.
same. 1, 3, 4, and 2. Because I rewatched the whole show before season 4 came out. And I was kind of like doing like my ratings for each episode and like seeing exactly where I'd put everything. And same where it's like, I didn't think season 2 was a bad season at all, but I felt like it was easily the weakest of the 4, like compared to season 1 and 3, which like season 1 is just, there's something so special about that season, and then season 3 has so much emotion and heart put into it. Now it tells Lois' story that's like, season 2 is still good for most of it, but it's like, it feels like it just doesn't match up to how good 1 and 3 are, and then 4 as well. It's just, it's so, the things they do with like Clark's reveal and stuff like that, like season 4 episode 7, where we deal with Clark's identity, is my favorite episode of the show. Like I think how they deal with that is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, let's go. Well, I'll need to rewatch and maybe I'll reconsider, but I'll go 4, 1, 3, 2.
Okay.
Just
Adriel?
similar reasons to you guys.
3, 1, and then 4, 2. I want to be different and say 2 is the best one, but I mean it's season 2. So I can't. So.
How are you, Jake?
I'm gonna say 1, and then I'm gonna say 4, 3, 2.
Right.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a tough decision. I was like, do I like 3 the second best or 4 the second best? But like they were saying, 3's got a lot of emotion in it, focuses a lot on Lois, which unlike any other time that happened in the other shows where they focused on the side, or not, or I would say side character, but she's in the title. Any other time where they focus on that character, it's not a bad thing. It's called Superman and Lois. But 4 was just packed full of so many great just Superman moments.
Yeah.
Great
Things.
Yeah.
Great episodes. Like episode 3 of season 4 is maybe my favorite episode of the show.
A good one.
7 finale premiere.
They're really good.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my ranking is 1, 4, 3, 2.
I actually think season 4 might have some of the best individual moments within a season.
I completely agree.
I'll say that. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
How about you, Chainsaw?
Jake stole mine, but 1, 4, 3, 2. I think I didn't think about it too much, but 2 is just the whole alley thing. I just feel like I understand what they were trying to do.
Right.
Something's missing. Something was missing.
Yeah,
and the setup in terms of the Bizarro, like I get, like they're setting that shit up like that. So that's what ultimately we're just kind of leading to, was the Bizarro becoming Doomsday. Like it was all probably laying the groundwork, but I feel like there was something that they could have done differently. But I think that's fair. But it's funny because people are like, well, you can't really rank 4 that high. Yeah, because they stuck the landing. Like I think what really elevates 4 is, some of it's Lex, some of it's kind of the wrapping up, but it's the finale for me that really makes that elevates that alone. And then you could say, episode 7, well, the premiere, but like that finale, I think really raises it so high, because if that finale was shit, it would drop. Oh my god.
And
it's also, I think, elevated slightly by the fact of like they had less than like most of the other CW shows. They had less than, I mean, look at like what the MCU sometimes does. It's like, well, they did this on like a quarter of that budget. Like they did that, like everything was going against them, less writers, less actors, less all these things, and they still made some of the best TV that 2024 has to offer, in my opinion. So 100%.
And the fact that 4 paid off a lot of things that people have been wanting to see since the beginning. Like in season 4, you finally get, John gets powers. You finally see what Clark's identity revealed to the world is like. All the villains that you think are going to be in there from the beginning are already established. You get all them. You get Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen. I forgot about that. Yeah. But no, I mean they just paid off all the great characters that they built up. And this thing, while some characters might have had their moments where you're like, I don't know if I like this or not, I don't think there was ever a character that was just flat out bad from the show.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked all the characters. Even Chrissy's probably my least favorite, but at the same time, like I still enjoy her scenes with everyone else. With Kyle, like I do like Kyle, even though he's like not the most popular character. I think his story's always, somewhat intriguing. So it was just such a good season, and for me, like you were saying, Connor, episode 7 probably has the best scene in the show, the reveal. Like that is gonna elevate the season no matter what.
Yeah.
And we were on I was on Busy Braun's stream a couple days ago. He actually had the actor who plays Candace's father, who is in that scene that shoots him. And, and I asked him, because I was wondering, because as we know with a lot of these DC shows and just shows in Arrow, they shoot scenes that are deleted so that you just don't see them go to air. I wondered if there was a scene where Lex met up with him, and he's like, no, there was never a scene. He's like, I didn't even know Michael Cutlass was playing Lex Luthor until he commented on an Instagram post of mine about that scene. He didn't even know. He was just like,
wow.
He said he got the script, and he turned to his girlfriend and went, holy crap, they gave me like an amazing scene to come back to.
Whoa.
Nice.
So that's pretty awesome. Like, you know, he's gone for a while.
Yeah.
You don't even think about that character anymore. All of a sudden, boom, he just walks in, and then the way they shot that too, Clark is just sitting there and he's just like, he's here. It's like, what?
He just is.
And it's an exact parallel to that season 3 scene. Clark storms into the diner. Oh crap, Clark's here.
Yeah.
They
That's
mirrored
right.
the scene, It
was really good. Yeah.
I wonder if he read the script and he's like, where is John Cryer? I thought he was in the show.
This is an Arrowverse show, right?
That would have been hilarious. Like,
That so funny.
Were you questioning where's Melissa Benoist's Supergirl at? She didn't show up to stop him shooting him, or what's happening here?
Did you guys see John Cryer's comments on the end of the series?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Those were nice.
He said he regrets not taking part in Superman and Lois.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think it's for the best. I think it's
Yeah,
for the best.
Yeah.
He was a great Lex as well, though.
Yeah, but his Lex of Supergirl, I think, fits more with that show. I don't know if
Or
his
over the
Lex
top
would've-
comic booky.
Yeah.
and I don't know if that Lex would have fit with this. Like,
I don't think
Michael,
so,
because
no.
Michael
Not at
Cutlass,
all.
he's not a traditional Lex. He's
No.
like owning in prison. He's fucking deadlifting. Like, that's not the
Rock
same
and
guy.
roll,
He
yeah.
has an
He's like
intimidating
making-
presence.
And he's making Kryptonians like Jordan quiver back in fear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wouldn't get
I
that
could.
with another
This Lex Luthor is probably listening to some Slayer and Pantera. I don't think John Cryer's Lex would be listening to that stuff working out. Or something like that.
Oh,
No.
the
And
fact that
if
he
you
shot a
don't
bunch of
see-
rockets to my
And you
way,
wouldn't see John Cryer's Lex Luthor forcing Bizarro to die over and over and over to
Mhm.
become Doomsday. It just wouldn't
Yeah.
happen.
No.
That
That's
scene
just-
where
that's just the
Doomsday's
show.
like screaming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
he's just
screaming
like-
at each other.
Yeah.
Die! Yeah.
That was metal as fuck. That was so cool.
I don't know
Yeah.
why they didn't play no Metallica. Fucking-
Yeah. Apparently, if your name is Michael, you have a talent for playing Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's true.
All right, let's move on to my next one, and we're starting to dive more into all the other shows a little bit. We talked about this a little bit. What is your favorite series among the CW DC TV shows? Obviously, again, 23 years worth
This
of
one.
shows. I know we've been talking about Superman Lois
Damn
all
it.
night, so maybe it's going to be a little tough. But
Ah.
Connor, I want to start with you and then asking you at the end. I think I know your answer,
Yeah.
but
Well,
what is your
mine's a tie
favorite?
between Naomi and Gotham Knights.
Dude.
You're lying. You are lying through your
No.
You
teeth,
cannot
No.
say that
Deep
with a straight
cut.
face.
boy. You're lying.
No, Arrow. Arrow's my favorite show of all time. I've got such a connection to that show.
Yeah, Canada Graphs is right. Why are you being biased and not showing Arrow, Black Lightning, or Legends in that photo?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What's
I
wrong
couldn't
with you?
fit
Yeah.
what 10
Oh,
shows.
you
in one
could
That is
photo.
have.
biased.
You could
That's
have,
right.
but you're
You
You
just
just had to put
biased over
Superman
here.
on there twice.
Yeah, the
You know what?
bias.
Yeah.
Almost seemed fair.
Bias.
I don't know.
Yeah. Go to timeout.
Ben, I also feel like I might know your answer, but what would your favorite CW DC show be?
Yeah, for me it's hard. Like I love Arrow. I love lots of the different shows. I mean, I even love Constantine. Like I think it's such
That's
a
good.
Oh,
like,
That's
one
good.
season.
Yes.
It was
Like, I-
Underrated.
I wish there was
Underrated.
more of it because it was so solid. So that shout out to Constantine. But I think for me, for a long time, it was between Supergirl and The Flash, just because I have a very strong connection with both of those shows. And I think overall, The Flash used to just edge it, just because it had so many solid seasons, like really good, like season 1, 2. I really like season 3. I like season 5. I know that's not very popular. So there's lots of stuff that I just love with Supergirl and The Flash. But to be honest, I think Superman Lois has edged it. I think what they were able to do, coming off the back of these characters premiering and debuting in Supergirl for Tyler, Elseworlds for Bitsy, seeing what they've done with these characters that were just kind of guest stars on the Arrowverse shows and doing it it was in the Arrowverse at the start. Like we
Mhm.
weren't sure if it was Earth Prime or not, but seeing how, for me, like how good in terms of the quality, like the visuals, is insane compared to the other Arrowverse shows. I feel like they took a different approach that I really appreciated. They cared about who directed the episode. They cared about the cinematography. The other Arrowverse shows, as much as I love them, I never paid attention to the visuals or anything because they shot it like any other TV show because they had 23 episodes. They had to rush through them. It's about the story. It's not really, and the acting, and it's less so about how it looks and how well directed it is and stuff, or how good the editing is. And so I think for me, that's why it's edged it in terms of Arrowverse shows or CW, DCTV shows. Just like the quality of it overall and just how humane it was. And also having like insanely good action scenes. Like the CGI was miles above the CW's past work. So yeah, I think for me, I gotta edge it to Superman Lois now.
Yeah, for sure.
Oops.
Dude, it was your turn. We were waiting.
Something popped up I wanted to share with y'all.
I just
well,
saw
Mark,
that.
send
Yeah,
I was,
pull it up.
Yep.
Pull it up.
Yeah, no, I just sent it to you on Discord, Darren.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, do I want to share my Discord? Yeah, I'll pull it up though. Give me 1 second. While I'm pulling it up, Adria, what's your favorite?
Well, it used to be for the longest time it was Arrow as well. I was a defender of Arrow. Even I might get crucified just in this chat right here,
Season
but
4?
I even like season 4.
No, I do too.
I know.
I do too.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
There's
Season
worse
4
Arrowverse seasons.
Overhated.
Hold it up.
Overhated.
It's
Pull it up.
overrated. It's overrated.
But I even pull that up first.
Pull it up. Look at that.
Look at that.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
my
Come on, man.
God.
We were robbed.
Did he just drop that?
There's a
Yeah, I
crime.
think so.
Yep.
Whoa. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah,
I thought that was CGI. I didn't know like he was
They,
actually
they made something.
wearing
Yeah.
something.
That's
I was so happy they finally
dope.
gave it to him. Like there was few things on my bucket list I needed this season. Like seeing the kids growing up was one of them, and this
Superboy
was like the
in
other. Like I
costume.
needed
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they
The
should have done
time
it
that
earlier,
he
to be
had
fair.
in like seasons 1, 2, and 3 was still really good, but this was just icing.
It's cool. Yeah.
That is so
Mhm.
good.
That's peak. But what was I saying? Oh,
Arrow.
yeah. It used to be Arrow for the longest time, and then there was a moment where I was enjoying a little bit too much of Legends, but I think I was just stoned.
Yes, you were. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
and then this season of Superman and Lois pretty much solidified that it's like,
That's
no,
fair.
this is the greatest show. This is easily the greatest
Yeah.
show. There's no doubt in my mind.
That's
Yeah.
fair. How about you, Jake?
Well, Adriel kind of stole my sentiments there. I was a defender on Arrow 2 for the longest time, not to the 4th season like Adriel was, but I always said that there was more good with that show than bad. I just think
I
that
agree.
one season kind of just overall tainted a lot of people's perspective on
100%.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to the point where they didn't end up seeing a lot of the good stuff that came after, like season 5, the prison stuff in 7 or 8. But like the other ones had their really good moments. Like Flash had a great first couple seasons. I think
And that's about it.
Supergirl started to pick itself up as they were heading to Crisis, but then after that kind of lost it. And I wanted to wait until Superman and Lois ended for me to kind of really be sure whether or not I considered it the best. But now that it's
Same.
over, as much as I love the early seasons of Arrow, Superman and Lois might be my favorite live action comic book show, just behind Daredevil.
Yeah.
There
that's
you go.
fair.
Respect. Yep.
How about you, Chainsaw?
Real fast. Melissa Benoist and Chris Wood, aka Mon-El and
Saw
Supergirl,
that.
are set to star in Duo, a drama development at NBC. So they'll be starring in a show together.
That's
Cool.
cool.
Ah,
Supergirl Legion of Superheroes spinoff. Is that what we're getting?
hell
Is that
yeah.
what that is?
Which what they should have done. Anyways.
It should have been
Um,
a Western movie
right.
like Stephen Amell and Emily.
No,
Oh, yeah, they did do that.
So there's been a lot of discussion about, it did fluctuate for me. Arrow and Flash were the two main ones that were kind of back and forth in terms of which show I liked more. And at times it was Flash, and at times it was Arrow. I gotta be blunt and be honest. It's still Arrow for me. It's still Arrow.
That's fair.
I think,
Okay.
yes. Look, season 4 of Arrow, shoot me now. But
Right.
what they did with that show overall, and what that show established in the Arrowverse, and all the great moments, because like it redeemed itself in season 5. And then I think
Yes,
its
it
final
did.
season was great.
Oh,
and Crisis wasn't the best crossover, but it had a lot of ambition, but they didn't have the budget to actually do it. But Arrow still, to me, did a really good job of starting out with this guy who was just trying to basically wrap up a list. And he ends with him sacrificing himself and basically recreating the multiverse.
Yeah.
What a crazy journey that this random guy goes on. But now, and then what even cemented it more for me is his appearance in season 9 of Flash. When he comes back, it was so important to have him come back.
That's right.
And then to have that moment with Diggle, have that moment with the Flash, like have these moments. It's so good. Regardless of my feelings of Steven now as a person, I think what the show did and what they all did collectively, they did a great job. There were some bad moments, but you can't blame the actors. You can blame the writers and the showrunners because they did some really stupid decisions. They listened to Tumblr versus actually writing. So it's Arrow for me.
Yeah.
That's
Flash,
fair.
I think Flash is a close second. Yeah, Flash had some bad seasons too, but you cannot deny that first season and even season 2 are some of the greatest DC we've ever gotten because of Reverse Flash and Zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
It's too good.
And I will say, even though I may like Superman and Lois as a show slightly more overall, and it's very, very slightly, I still think that second season of Arrow is like my singular favorite season out of all of these. So
Yeah.
even though I might like Superman and Lois slightly more as a show.
100%.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
similar for me. I think maybe my favorite season in the Arrowverse. I mean, I would need to reconsider it, but it might be Flash season 2.
Same. I love Flash
That's a
season
good
2.
one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, like the Flash was my show for the longest time. Like it's what got me into superheroes. Really, like it, introduced me to so many friends, and it was so like that first season is probably my favorite season of television ever. Like I adore that first season. But man, they made it really hard. That show made it really, really hard to love it sometimes, and like that. I think that final season kind of killed me, man. Like that show ended, and like the final episode, I was like, I don't think this is my favorite show anymore. Like I feel like the show that ended.
Great episodes though that season though.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, if they would have ended it 3 episodes earlier, they would have been fine.
You know what? Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And like
With,
I was
Thorn and Steven showing up as Arrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I think right now it's a toss-up between obviously Superman and Lois. We talked about it. I think it's been one of the most consistent. I'm shocked no one said it. I really love Stargirl.
I was going to shout it out if nobody else did.
I was
say it at
gonna
the
say
end.
that too.
I think it's like I think it's such a celebration of like as someone who doesn't read a lot of comics, just like that era of comics and those characters. Like it feels like you're reading a comic book that has come to life with all these characters, and obviously it only ran 3 seasons, but I thought one of the more consistent ones over the years. So it's up to those two at this point, I think.
Very rewatchable.
They weren't embarrassed to embrace their comic book roots either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good old Cecile. They fly
I'm a
now.
lover. True.
Is that what we're calling cinema nowadays?
Put into Canada grass.
Absolutely.
Holy shit.
I mean, it's even though Flash ended the Arrowverse, I remember like watching season 9, and I mean, I loved episode 9 with Steven in my back. Like that was such a huge episode of TV for me. And then episode 10, obviously doing the Thawne stuff as well. Like, what I remember watching the finale, and like even though it was wrapping up this franchise that I've loved for over half my life, I was still like, Flash is making it very hard to care that it's all wrapping up. Like I felt more
Tell
about
me
the
about
end
it,
of this
bro.
era.
Oh my god.
I felt more like about the end of this era of DCTV with Superman and Lois ending this week than I felt when Flash ended, which is so weird. I feel like there's more of a it's over now with Superman and Lois than there was with Flash ending. It's crazy.
That year we had Superman, Lois, The Flash, and Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
And Gotham Knights
was actually better.
Gotham Knights is not my least
Also
favorite season
airing?
that year.
It was better than Flash that year.
I
Like I don't know how
agree.
Gotham Knights was better, but
I mean, okay, that's actually a really good transition to this next question, which we already kind of touched on it a little bit. But what are some of our favorite and least favorite individual seasons of DCTV?
That's a nice
Oh.
picture.
Because I think
Look,
that's
look at all those people, all them shows. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but where's Superman and Lois? Where's Stargirl?
Man, you're
Where's Gotham
Where's
Knight?
Naomi?
You're biased.
Where is it? Where's Naomi?
Where is Naomi?
Bait and switch.
Yeah, exactly. I do have to head out.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I can answer this real fast if you want me to.
Okay.
Okay. Everything. Favorite, least favorite. Is it like from like just some favorite, some least favorite?
Yeah,
Or-
just like what's been some of your favorites, what's been some of your least favorites, just
Um,
whatever you're feeling.
I mean, we were kind of discussing Superman and Lois. Seasons 1 and 4 were really good. I mean, they're all pretty much good for their own things. Arrow seasons 1, 2, 5, 8. I mean, it's pretty much obvious for a lot of them. I think in terms of least, Superman and Lois season 2, it's good, but it's definitely weaker. Flash season 4. What was the season that had the forces or whatever? Is that 7?
Yeah,
Flash
that's
season 7.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
That's
Flash
good,
season,
right?
Flash season 7. All of Legends. I mean, no, I'm kidding. But
Oh,
like Legends had a good start, but it really petered off. Gotham Knights actually wasn't bad, surprisingly. I didn't
Yeah.
finish it, but I was like, oh god, this is actually not terrible.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's really mixed, but like at the end of the day, it's like, hey, they got to tell stories, and if you don't like in each room, like we could sit here and say, oh, we hate season 4 of Arrow, but then we have people here like, oh, I actually like season 4 of Arrow.
Right.
That, to each their own. Like it all depends on how it hits you. Because for me, it's like, hey, I don't need to see romance in my shit, but I get it. It's a part of storytelling. But
Right.
you know, the Arrowverse has been a mixed bag, but it's
Absolutely.
okay because I still love it. Still love
Yeah.
it.
But Jordan, thank you so much for coming on
course.
today.
course,
Obviously everyone
guys.
here probably already knows who you are, but if they
No.
don't, where can we find you?
At the Pipeline Podcast, whenever he decides to bring me on. Joypad Jake's channel, whenever he decides to have me on. Council Credits every Wednesday. That's Chainsaw Reacts. And find me just making faces.
Yeah.
All that. It's all I do.
I'll message you about the weekend plans.
Sure, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll let you know.
Maybe.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Darren. I appreciate it, man. Thank
Absolutely,
you so much.
man. I'll catch you later.
Bye, guys. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, then let's go the other way around. Let's start with you, Jake, and then we'll wake our way back up. What are some of your favorites or least favorites or whatever?
Okay, let me think. So, like I said, my favorite out of all of them is probably still Arrow season 2. I just have such an attachment to that one. You know, watching it with my brother back and forth. Like, we're huge Slade Wilson fans, so that was a nice bonding experience there for us. But also seasons 1, 5, and 8. I would actually say that I think season 6 is a really underrated season.
Thank you.
Yep.
What happened in season 6? Remind me.
That was
Oliver became a dad.
Yeah.
one where he becomes a dad, and then it ends with him going to prison.
Yeah.
The
Ricardo
Team Arrow
Diaz
Civil
and-
War,
Yeah.
where Renee runs at Oliver with a hatchet.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an underrated season there. But you got Flash seasons 1 and 2, and 3 I think is a little bit underrated too. And then 4, like 4 has problems, but I think it's probably got the single best episode of the show in it, which is Flash Time. And I'm surprised no one has brought this up yet, but I think I don't know if I would call this diamond in the rough, but I actually really like the 3rd season of Black Lightning.
Yes, I was going
that's
to
my
say
favorite
that.
season
If
of
no
it.
one was going to say it, I was going to say it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That 3rd season's great. The 4th one kind of tanks, but
We don't talk about that one.
The 3rd one's great. And then I know he made the joke earlier saying that like Legends started good, but it really petered. I really like season 2 of Legends.
I do.
Yeah.
And as far as the least favorites, I mean, we already said like Arrow season 4, Flash season 7. Maybe this one's going to step on some toes, but I was not a fan of the first Batwoman season. I know it has its fans.
Oh, bro.
I know it has its
We were like, season 1, don't do it.
No, I'm not doing that one. I know that one has its fans. Also, I'm not as big a fan as Black Lightning season 1 is as some other people are. I think it's fine.
I like
but
season 1.
It didn't grip me.
Season 1 was really good for me. Yeah.
And then I think I really liked Supergirl season 3 for the most part, but it kind of fell off at the end. When they brought in what's that group called? I'm forgetting the name. The like World Killers or whatever it's called. When they brought those guys in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was around when the writer behind the scenes stuff happened, wasn't it? And they had to change a lot of the storyline or something.
Yeah,
the little
and you could
creep
definitely tell
guy.
there was a jump. Yeah, you could definitely
Yeah.
tell. Yeah, those are probably like the most ones there. Like for Arrow, you got 1, 2, 5, and 8. Flash 1 and 2. I'll say Black Lightning's 3rd. Legends 2nd. Those are probably my least favorites, and then or my favorites rather, and then the least favorites are the ones that we already talked about.
Sure. Hey, Jiro.
I feel like a lot of our answers are going to be the same, so I'm just going to
Yeah.
choose the ones that people are not going to like. There's
Okay.
no way people are going to talk about it. Yeah, I mean, first starters, just to grade on the curve here. I mean, my favorite season of DCTV in general is just like Arrow season 2. It was just
Yeah.
like
There you go.
once you get to the Promise episode, it's just like nonstop, one after another,
Yeah.
after another, after another.
But
Like,
even
you
before
get-
that, you have 3 ghosts too.
That's right. Yeah.
It was my
So-
favorite episode of the Arrowverse. I love that episode.
Yeah,
so
There
much.
but
you
I
go.
mean, I would say Black Lightning season 3 and 1, I would say is a good shout out. Supergirl season 4, because what
Yes,
the hell happened?
yes, I was going to mention
Why was that season so good?
I
Like,
am
it
the
came
man of
out-
tomorrow, not
Like,
him.
it came out of
Not
nowhere for me
him.
too.
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
That's what made it good for me was when Lex came in. But until then, it was a little.
Lex was
No,
good, but
I like the Red
Storm
Daughter
Whisper
stuff.
I
For
love
me,
Agent
I
Liberty.
liked it really from the beginning of season 4. I know a lot of people started to really like it once Lex got involved, but
Hmm.
I like once I got that origin story for Agent Liberty.
Yeah.
All of
So
the
good.
episodes
I'm
after
with
that,
you.
I was just
I'm
like,
with you.
oh, we have an idea. I like this.
Yeah.
I like where we're going with this now, for
I just got
sure.
really tired of him by the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Mhm.
fair.
Yeah, I mean the way that they handled him at the very end, where he had like him against Guardian dealing with that whole Harnell stuff, that was weird. But
Yeah.
because I liked everything else, I kind of like was able to ignore it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I
Uh,
just love how it's such a personal story for the series. Like I think like obviously I know people don't like racism in their TV shows and stuff, but also it's like I think when you have a character that is like
people don't
an
like racism.
immigrant-
Period. Hot take.
Yeah, like I think it is a very important part for these characters sometimes, and it's like this idea that like people like me are under attack. Okay, how am I dealing with this idea? Similar, I think Summer Lois kind of tried to do a little bit of stuff like that too at some point, but I love season 4. I think it's my favorite season of that show.
Yeah, I mean, to also give Legends a shout out as well, I do think season 7 actually ended really well. Like, I think season 7 of Legends was sort of, for me,
I
almost like a return to form in a way,
I agree.
because between like seasons 4 through 6, they kind of did lose they lost the magic a little bit on what made seasons 2 and 3 so great.
Mhm.
But I think
Yeah.
season 7 kind of was finding their way back on like that perfect
Yeah.
blend of comedy and the little action comic booky nonsense and stuff like that. I think that's pretty much all the good stuff that everyone's been saying. I would say the bad stuff. No one is ever gonna mention this. I'm just gonna say it right now. Those animated web series, Vixen
Oh,
and
Vixen and the
Fire,
Ray. You leave them alone.
CWC,
They're
yeah.
way too short.
those were
Yeah.
so trash. Why
No,
did they
they're
do
real
that?
bad.
It should have
Why?
been like the whole show is like one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
There was
why?
an
Why
awesome
did they do
Deathstroke
that? All?
one, but it wasn't connected.
That's right. There was also a
Yeah.
Constantine one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
like
DC animated stuff, isn't it? The animated
Yeah, it's
movie.
like
yeah, like
CWC.
my problem with both of those like web series are completely different. The Freedom Fighters one should not have existed at all.
Makes no
Like
sense.
I watched from start to finish, and I was like, "This, like, why? Why does
Yeah.
this exist?" We moved on from the Earth X stuff. It was a cool crossover, but we want to go back. And then with the Vixen, my main problem was I was like, "This would have been really cool if it wasn't an animated show and if it was actually like a live action one. Like, if this was a pilot, I feel like I would have liked it a lot more, especially since we have a live action actress chosen." So I was just like,
And she appeared for
you
one
have it. Yeah, it's like you had it. You could have easily just like tried. And I heard that I think it's because that she's like a really busy woman. I think she's on Broadway, I think. Like that
Which
was
one?
really what she was doing.
So why?
It was like Megan something. It was the actress from Arrow season 4.
Yeah.
Meg Leonard Chenoweth.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I think she was on Broadway, so that's why they couldn't really like get her onto like tie her down to a show or something. But I still
Sure.
think that we should have gotten like a live action Vixen show instead of the animated one, because I actually did like the concept of the animated show. But the
Yeah.
reason why I didn't like it, I was just like, these episodes are like 5 minutes long and they
Right.
cover almost absolutely nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they could have just easily had, because like whenever you introduce the season 4 Vixen, that's prior to Barry changing the timeline, and then
That's
you
right.
see that second actress. You could just say that's what Amaya looks like now. You didn't have to create the original character.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then probably one last least favorite season. Do I want to say it? Do I want to say it?
Yeah, go for it. Say it. Say it.
I'm scared.
Oh, I
Say
think
it.
I might know.
I think I might know
Well,
too.
no, actually, Darren, that guess. I want to see you guess that because I think you know.
Don't say
Is it-
Flash season 2, please.
Is it like a Stargirl?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
knew
you didn't
it.
like Stargirl,
Yeah, I
didn't you?
think I
Yeah.
know.
I forgot about that. I
I
forgot
don't
about
like
that.
Stargirl.
I was
tried
flabbergasted. I was like, how could
I
you?
tried so much. I think my main problem with Stargirl is that it focused so much on like expanding the world so much that like we barely get any Stargirl. I'm just like, whoa. The show's called Stargirl. Why are we already doing like Rick Tyler stuff? Why are we already doing Wildcat stuff? I want a season.
You know what?
of
That's
Stargirl.
fair.
Please. So
That's fair.
That's
How about
fair,
you, Ben?
Yeah, so obviously Superman and Lois is great, but we talked about that, so I won't mention those seasons. To say something different, for me, I love Supergirl season 1, personally.
Same.
I
it's a
have
good one.
a big connection to it. I often rewatch the episodes. I think there's a lot of really strong episodes like the Flash crossover, the pilot. I think even the
Red Kryptonite.
the finale's good. There's a lot of good episodes, and I don't know. For me, I really connected with Supergirl during that season, and seeing her crossover with the Flash was huge for me at the time. I was like, oh my god, like it's my two favorites right now, and also shout out to season 3, like Jake said, of Supergirl. I think Rain is one of the best Arrowverse villains, in my opinion. She's up there. And I think that season really, really was just super gripping. I also love season 2 as well. I know not everyone's a big fan, but I personally like Mon-El, and I like the stories that he had, and his connection to Kara. I found very engaging throughout season 2. Some solid episodes, but what let season 2 down a bit is the villain for sure. Even though I do like what's the actor's name for Rhea?
Terry Hatcher.
I do really like Terry Hatcher anyway. But
oh my god, it was Terry Hatcher. I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Lois and Clark.
Yeah, she's just not really that well written, so that kind of let that season down. Okay, let's think. Other show, obviously Flash season 2, 1. I think 3 is underrated. I really do like Savitar and that story. I think it just really had me that season. I always love what the Flash did with their mysteries, and I think they really dropped the ball when it came to season 4 of the Flash. There was no mystery. You knew who Thinker was from the start. The turn to comedy and trying to make it lighthearted, it was just so stupid. Like the Flash season 4 had a great suit. Like it was one of the best suits he had.
Oh my god,
The content was just so bad. It was so poor. And so I was very happy. Actually, I like season 5. I know a lot of people didn't like it because the cicada, yes, it became boring and it became repetitive. But I was really intrigued in Nora in season 4, and then she became like a big thing in season 5. Seeing Reverse Flash return was obviously great. So I think 5 is underrated because I think a lot of people put it quite low down their list in the Flash.
Right.
That costume doesn't help.
No, yeah, of
that's
course.
right.
But let's think. Obviously, I mentioned Constantine. Love Constantine. I will sometimes go back and rewatch that. Legend season 1, I really liked. I thought
Same. Yep.
Rip Hunter's great, totally underrated character, needed more time, I think.
Should have been in a crossover. Don't know why it never was.
That's
Exactly.
actually crazy. He never was.
That's crazy. Obviously, Arrow, I think, in my opinion, I know you guys love season 2. I love season 2 too, but season 5 just like
Season 5 is
killed it.
good.
It's just-
Yeah.
That's a good one.
most of my favorite Arrow episodes are season 5,
Yeah.
and then season 2 and 1 afterwards. So yeah. Least favorite seasons, obviously I mentioned The Flash season 4, Arrow season 4, Supergirl season 4.
Season 4 is right here.
I don't know. It's something about season 4 just cursed me. I just for Supergirl, like I said, I liked Nia and all these different characters, and I liked some of the stories, but I think as the season went on, I just got quite tired of like the Agent Liberty storyline, and I just never was like fully gripped that season. Let's think. So I've mentioned all the season 4s. Yeah, there's not too much else really. Like I'm a fan of most seasons of the shows. I do think Legends really dropped off for me when they really shifted things.
Mhm.
Like I was actually one of the people that was like, yeah, I love what Legends is doing in season 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And I just stopped watching. I just like had enough. Like I watch most of the shows, but Legends just really lost me.
That's
after
fair.
that.
They just stopped doing things that were DC related, which is ironic for a show called DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
The one show we
Yeah,
did.
like it was almost like just a comedy now instead of
Yeah.
a superhero show. It's supposed to be a team up show,
Right. Because it started as Doctor Who with superheroes, basically.
Exactly, and it was such a cool concept, time travel with superheroes. You can go back to all these events. You can see past versions of characters. You can link into the Flash and the
Sure.
crossovers like they did
Yeah.
earlier on. And I thought that was like some of the best stuff. Like when you had the Legends and like Stein reacting to Barry's message from the future. Some really really good stuff there. But yeah, they kind of just like they lost me.
How about you, Connor?
Everybody's kind of already touched.
Yeah, we kind of touched everything at this point.
No, there's one season where both me and Connor really like, and I was hoping I was saving it so he could say it.
Oh yeah,
it's of Arrow.
I think I know what it is.
Was it the prison season?
It's the number after 2.
Oh, 3.
Well, yeah. Tree is a very like. I think it's underrated because I think the first 9 episodes of that season are just as good as the first 2 seasons, and then like it gets a little bit weird in the back half, but I still think it's a really good season of TV. I think they still they still give you a lot of shocking, like season 3 never feels repetitive, which I think is a problem a lot of the later Arrowverse shows get into, is where their seasons start to feel repetitive. But it's like with the DC TV shows in the Arrowverse, there are a handful of seasons I really, really, really hate, but like the vast majority I at least like, or there's enough episodes in them that I can enjoy. It's like Flash season 7, Flash season 5, and season 9 are like 3 of the most disappointing seasons of TV I've ever seen in my life. I think season 7 of The Flash might be like the most I've ever hated watching a season of TV, because just that whole the Forces stuff where they're all just calling each other brother and sister the whole time, and
meanwhile, one of them looks like his mom.
Yeah. It's
mommy, daddy. Oh.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't know why they would write that and be like, like this is cool to film.
Shit, right.
We struck gold here.
Yeah.
Right. They bastardized Godspeed.
It's like, I don't know. My thing about the later season of Flash from season 6 on is I think they consistently had really, 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 really cool ideas. Like they were constantly going, yeah, all right, let's do this thing fans have been asking for years. Let's actually finally do it. But they didn't have the writing there to actually make those ideas work. They always just felt like they were throwing a cool character at you, but nothing was there to actually make the character cool. Yeah. Arrow, I'm super biased against Arrow, so I don't think any of the Arrow seasons are like in my least favorite seasons. I don't love season 4 or anything, but I definitely think it's overhated because it still gets brought up as one of the worst comic book seasons of all time, where I'm like, Flash has shown that it's much worse in my opinion than Arrow was
Thank
ever.
you. Yep.
I
agreed.
think every other show except for Superman and Lois has a season that is worse than Arrow season 4.
I completely
Well,
agree.
well, except for Stargirl, I'll say it. I don't
Oh
think
yes, Stargirl as well. Yeah, season 1 of Stargirl
Yeah,
was
because
like
all of them.
amazing.
I saw that going. I saw that
Yeah,
going.
this guy hates Stargirl.
All
I
right.
respect that.
No,
I respect that. Supergirl, it's like
oh, it changed.
season 3 and 4 of Supergirl I think are great. Season 1 as well, I really like. I think season 1 stands out because it has that CBS different look to it. That
Yeah.
like it feels like a different, more brighter season than a lot of the Arrowverse seasons have, or like the DCTV seasons have. I'm biased towards season 2 because it introduced Superman and a lot of like those sort of ideas. And I also thought Mon-El was a pretty cool character for the limited
It was
time
really
we had
good.
him.
I did like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought 5 had like a really cool stretch of episodes after Crisis, where we're dealing with the Win stuff,
The
where he's
Brainiac episode.
Yeah, the Brainiac,
Brainiac
episode's good.
stuff, the
Yeah,
Lex
that was
stuff, where we're
good.
dealing with him being
Rex
president
was
now.
great.
Yeah, the Alex episode where she was like, I think it's
Yeah.
called like Alex in
She-
Wonderland or something.
Alex in Wonderland. That was actually really good
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
where she was the Supergirl of that world.
Yeah, 5
Um,
was
That,
great.
that was where we had the Mixie episode too, right? Was after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, with the 100th, yeah.
That season was weird because it had like the best of the show, and then it would just like give you one of the worst episodes of
Yeah.
TV you have ever seen.
Yeah.
Like it was like
Yes.
If you have like the end of 4 and the beginning of 5 up to Crisis is, I think, the best stretch of that show for me.
sure.
Yeah.
I think Supergirl
Um,
handled Crisis maybe the best out of all of the show's impact on
Sure.
it. Like I think like
I
they
agree.
actually were dealing with a lot of cool ideas after that.
I like John's whole
Um,
thing where
yeah.
it's like
after
okay,
it, yeah,
like his
Yeah.
involvement in it, like getting ready for Crisis. I thought was cool.
yeah.
Um,
Well, Arrow
yeah,
season 8 also, I just want to shout out as being one like the most hyped season of TV I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Loved it so
I mean,
much.
you guys talked about everything at this point. I don't know what's left for me to talk about. Let me just give like some things I think are underrated really quickly.
Naomi, hello.
Yeah, no,
We'll
def-
get there. Give me a minute.
Oh,
I think Legend Season 2 is some of the most hyped DC stuff has ever been. Like, when
Yeah,
you
that's
have,
true.
like, Thawne from The Flash and Malcolm Merlin and Damien Dark coming together with Captain Cold and Heatwave is like, this is peak. Like, this is
Right,
absolute, like, I
And
felt
it's
they
Matt
found
Stone.
their, yeah, like, they found
yeah,
their
they
stride
used it
there where
great.
it's like this fun comic booky time travel show with all these characters from, like, it was doing some of the coolest things, in my opinion.
It actually uses
Um,
DC superheroes.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's really, really sick. I like season 3 as well, but I do think it's like a slight downgrade from season 2.
Yeah.
I agree.
Stargirl season 1 and 3, I think season 3 is one of the best final seasons of any of these shows. Hot take, I love Flash season 6. Like there's some episodes in there that I don't think are very great, but like
yeah.
the entire Bloodwork stuff I think is really fun. I think
I
there's a
love
lot of
that
great
half.
ideas
True, yeah.
in the Mirrorverse stuff. I think what ruins it though is like the COVID stuff, because they'd be like, oh, 2 episodes and then a break, 2 episodes and then a break, and then it's like, oh, how about an entire year break? And it's like, yeah, like that storyline was not that good to pace itself
Yeah.
out within like a year and a half. I think that
Right.
really messed it up. Supergirl season 3 is great for the first half. Like I think that half is great.
I think you said you like season 8 of The Flash, don't you?
I like. I don't know. I wouldn't say I like it. I like some of it. Like I like things that they do in that season. Like I think all the ideas they have in that season are really cool ideas, even if the execution of them aren't always great. Like again,
Armageddon was legitimately good, I thought.
Armageddon's great.
Armageddon was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
Armageddon was great. I liked what's his name? Fire what's his name? The like Ronnie
Deathstorm?
Deathstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Deathstorm is a great concept. I didn't think it was a great
Yeah.
execution. The whole Thawne final arc is cool in theory when he's like rips off the
Oh,
face
that was so
yeah.
cool.
But then he has that really bad looking black suit and then floats up
Yeah.
into the air. So
That was
it's-
trash.
Yeah.
Oh, he looked so stiff in it, like
Yeah.
he couldn't move in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
I-
where they
and-
threw away the Diggle stuff too with Lantern. They buried that in that arc.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
And in terms of least favorite, I don't need to bark on it too much, but Superhero season 6 is probably the closest I've ever been to quitting a show. I could not stand Superhero season 6. I was
Dang.
done.
Final
I
season.
like- What's that?
The final season.
Yeah, the final season.
Yeah, they ruined Lex in that season, I think.
I hated that villain so much. I'll be honest. I could not
They made it
stand
so
her.
Why?
clear that he was supposed to be a narcissist, and just for him to like genuinely fall in love, like it was like authentic, genuine love. I was like, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
what a narcissist is. That's not no.
Yeah. And it was like a female Mixie Spitalik, right? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Nixie, they called her.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
a
like,
thing in
it's
the
probably
comics.
worse. I
She's a
just I
thing.
wasn't vibing it. I also really hate. I don't want not hate, but probably the most disappointing show season is like Black Lightning season 4. Like they really
Yeah,
dropped the
yeah.
ball in that season.
Especially after
Um,
season 3 being so strong.
Yeah,
That's right.
and then if Naomi has 0 haters, then I'm dead. I hate the shit out of Naomi.
Right.
Like it's like this entire thing of like, oh my gosh, it's pairing up with Superman and Lois. There's gonna be Superman. She's tied to this
Yeah.
thing, and the final episode
Yeah.
being like, hey, we're never showing Superman in the entirety of the show. Screw you
Like-
for
like, you
believing
suckers.
us. Yeah, it was like, well, fuck you. And it's like, if there was like any other like Superman and Lois kind of did that to us, but that's a great show. Like if there was any redeeming qualities throughout those 13 episodes, I could have been like, all right,
If it
cool,
was
that's right.
actually good.
Yeah. But didn't
Yeah.
Naomi start on like the day of the season 2 premiere of Superman and Lois as well?
Yes,
So
yes,
it was
it
like
did.
everybody was
Yes.
thinking
Yep.
it was going to be an actual tie-in.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, we were on this one for a minute. I do apologize.
Yeah.
Again, if anyone has to go, if anyone's on time or whatever, by all means, don't hesitate to just say something. Okay, this next one I think is kind of interesting. Who is your favorite villain from the era of DCTV?
Pick one.
That's hard.
One villain.
Okay.
I mean, you
Damn
could
it.
talk about a couple,
Yeah.
maybe not like 10 of them, but like a couple that you
Yeah.
really like.
Yeah,
I liked all of them.
All of them,
You have
even
to like
the Force
all
is
of them.
Connor.
All of them.
Ben, let's start with you this time, just to be fun. Is there ones that
Alright.
like come to mind that you really love?
So, I mean, there's the obvious ones: Zoom, Reverse Flash, Deathstroke, people like that. So I won't talk about them. So, who would I say? Well, I mentioned Rain. Shout
Rain's
out
good,
Prometheus,
yeah.
of course. But I'll go with Rain. I think Rain is just such a strong villain, underrated compared to, like Flash, Arrow villains and stuff like that. I think just her story was really intriguing, seeing the two sides of Samantha and Rain. Yeah, just really good. And that mid-season finale was insane. Like that Rain episode, where
Yeah,
it's just Supergirl fighting Rain, and like Supergirl's not a brutal show, or like it never really was like Arrow,
Dude,
where
that
you
fight,
see lots
though.
of blood.
Mm.
And like seeing Supergirl get knocked off the building, crash
Yeah.
landing, and looking like
crazy.
she's been defeated.
That was amazing.
So
Yeah.
for me, shout out to Rain, because I think she's like up there, and also her
Yeah.
costume's really cool as well. And I think the actor is really good. What's her name? Adette Annabelle. I think she was
Yeah.
a really good actor. So
Yeah, she was cool. Hey, Drew, how about you?
Again, I'm just gonna go to be
Yeah.
different because everyone's gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
I would probably say, sticking with Black Lightning, Gravedigger.
He was great.
Like
Gravedigger's
that was
great.
incredible.
Yeah, I like Gravedigger.
Incredible. I love and Wayne Brady. I love Wayne Brady in like literally anything.
Yeah,
So the fact that they got him to play Gravedigger, it was so good. The way that they tied it back into like actual historical events just made it so much more impactful, especially since I had to do my own research after that, where it's like Gravedigger is a character in the comic books, but it's like completely disconnected. Like it's over there. Like this was during when DC was just telling random war stories just to like sell some comics.
Yeah.
And Black
Mm.
Lightning literally was like, you know what? Let me make that into a villain and like somehow connect it into the main plot of it all. I think Tobias Whale
yeah,
is probably the perfect way to do an arch enemy. I think what a lot of the other Arrowverse shows struggled with was that once they had the arch enemy, it kind of felt like, okay, but how much can you really hate a person at this point? Especially since we have Barry forgive Reverse Flash every season. Like how I don't think you
Yeah.
really understand what forgiveness means, Barry, because you just keep like you're like, oh, I forgive you for everything you've done, and then like Reverse, he somehow gets mad at him. I think the fact with Arrow is that like Malcolm Merlin was supposed to be the arch enemy, but Prometheus was so damn good that people completely forget that Malcolm Merlin was supposed to be the arch enemy of
yeah.
Green Arrow.
Yeah.
And then with Supergirl, I would say Rain would probably be the closest thing, but she was sort of like just one and done. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint, but I think
Right.
Tobias Whale on Black Lightning, that was the perfect way to handle an arch enemy. Like
Right.
you that hatred for one another will never end. Like in the afterlife, if they somehow manage to find each other, like they'll still hate each other then. They'll find a way to hate each other then.
Right.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Jake?
So you kind of touched on one of mine just then. Like Ben was saying, you have the obvious ones. Your Thawne, your Zoom, your Prometheus, your Deathstroke. But I actually really I really liked Malcolm Merlyn throughout these seasons. I thought not only did he had a very strong introduction because like up to that point, up to his the episode where he debuted as the Dark Archer, Oliver just seemed like this unstoppable machine that was taking out people left and right. And then he gets knocked down a peg and you're like, oh, wow, like people can actually, combat this guy. People can actually go against him. And, whenever I think it was revealed in that same episode that it is Merlin, and you got some incredible performances from John Barrowman in that series, like absolutely knocking out of the park as far as acting
They
goes.
deserve to die, all of them.
Yeah,
the way she died.
That moment
So good.
exactly,
So
right there.
good.
But then you got to see a little bit of involvement from him too about like taking over the role of Raish, and then the moment where really from like season 4 and then like the end of 5, he and Oliver are still enemies, but they'll come together whenever they need to. Like they still don't like each other. Yeah, and then even after Malcolm's dies, Oliver says later, he goes like, I understand why Thea's conflicted. That's her father. I'm not conflicted. This man was evil. So I loved him as a villain for that. On the Flash side, no one's brought this up yet. I think one of the best villains in the Arrowverse is Bloodwork. Like absolutely loved that villain. And I think that the short amount of episodes definitely worked to his benefit because, you didn't drag out the episodes. And then there wasn't that question of, oh, really, like, why hasn't this villain been defeated yet? Which was like one of the bigger problems with the Cicadas, because they just got away and then they didn't beat them for reasons. But no, loved not only whenever you saw him in his actual Bloodwork form, which was really cool, but then whenever he's in human form, I think Senator Murthy killed it in the role. And then this one's kind of a left field one. I'm going to go back to Arrow a little bit. I'm actually going to pluck from the flashbacks on Arrow and say that Konstantin Kovar is actually one of my favorite villains.
Okay.
Interesting.
I really liked, for one thing, it's Dolph frickin' Lundgren, so there's that part of it. But
True.
also just loved just him as a villain, the dynamic that he brought, and apart from Slade, I think that he had the best, sort of dynamic with Oliver, and sort of that same sort of thing where you were talking about with Tobias Whale. It's like you really grew to hate Kovar by the end of it because of everything he was doing to Oliver, and especially everything that he was making him relive that he had in the 5 years up to that point. He's making him go through all of it again. And then, he leads to essentially Oliver becoming the person that we see in the beginning of season 1. And just great performance. And the fact that we were finally seeing all of the Brodfa stuff pay off in the flashbacks that we've been teased on about. Loved that so much. So, like, apart from the obvious ones that people brought up before, I'd say those would probably be my 3 standouts.
Amazing. We do have to say goodbye to Ben. Ben, thank you so much for being on today. Again, I bet everyone already knows you or knows your stuff, but if they don't, where can people find you?
On YouTube, it's Ben's Take. You can follow me there. Obviously, no more Arrowverse content, but lots of DC content and everything else. So, yeah, go find me there. Same on Twitter, DCTV show. And so lovely to be on. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
of course.
Nice to hang out with you guys. Talk
Nice to
Arrowverse.
meet you.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
I already know you. I don't know why I said that.
Yep.
All right, see you, buddy.
All right,
See you, man.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Aaron, you just said the thing where you order food and they say enjoy your food and you say you too.
I do that at the movie theater all the
Have a
time.
safe flight,
where
you
they're
too.
like, enjoy your movie. I'm like, you too. Oh shit.
Yeah, you're like, oh wait. Oh man.
Who hasn't gone yet? Connor.
So obviously, like, same as everybody, Deathstroke, Zoom, Reverse Flash, and Prometheus, like the big ones. Superman Lois is Lex Luthor. I'm gonna try and do a few that like people haven't really talked about. I don't know if we were including Smallville in this, but like Smallville's Lex Luthor is
Go ahead. Yeah,
Oh.
of course.
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Smallville's Brainiac I thought was really good. But like in terms of other villains, see, it's weird because the DC TV shows have an unfortunate habit of turning their villains into like semi good guys later on in
Yeah.
the show. So a lot of my
Yeah.
my picks sort of fall in line with that. But I'm gonna
Mhm.
like
Stargirl's
speed
fun
run.
game.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right. I'm gonna speed run a few that I'm like
Okay, go ahead.
these are
Have
some
fun.
all right. So Talro / Morgan
Oh,
Edge in Superman Lois season 1 was really good. Sportsmaster and Tigress in Stargirl.
Oh,
I was waiting for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
Sportsmaster.
Yeah.
I was
especially.
I
waiting
love
for
that,
that
man.
one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have watched a Sportsmaster show. I don't
No,
care.
Sportsmaster is so good in that show. Like,
Yeah,
genuinely fantastic. The Shade as well from Stargirl I thought was really, really, really good.
way
Yeah.
better than
Um,
Flash.
Yeah, no, honestly. When did they do it? Season 3?
Yeah,
They did
it
the
was
show?
just a
Yeah.
one-off thing.
Yeah. Who else do I have? Right, this is going to be a pick that people are going to straight away disagree with me with, but there's like a but to it because I don't think the season 6 version. I think when they revealed who it was in season 6,
Oh.
the character was 10 times worse. But I was so into Vigilante in season 5 of Arrow. I thought
Okay.
he was so cool and threatening
yeah.
in his few episodes he was in season 5. Like when he
Okay.
shows up in the bank episode when they're fighting against
yeah.
Oliver,
Yeah.
and
that's cool.
Oliver's going up to take his mask off, and then it blows up and
Yeah.
he gets away. I thought he was such a threatening and interesting character in
Yeah.
that. And the way that they
was good
tied
with
it
that.
in by having Adrian Chase end up being Prometheus, like
Yeah, that
using
was
the two
cool.
characters in the same
That was
season to show the
good.
fans off.
Yeah,
So smart.
That was good.
really
Um,
good.
Earth X versions of Oliver and Kara, I thought were really, really,
You're
really
right.
interesting
Ooh.
villains.
Overgirl was great.
Yeah, Overgirl was really good. And then final one I guess I'll mention is briefly when the Monitor was a villain in Elseworlds, I thought he was a really good villain. Like I thought he was really good kind of putting him up against like Oliver and Barry and like what he was doing to kind of mess with them and stuff like that. I thought was really well done.
Yeah, I think that's a good mention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to look through like ones we haven't talked about yet. I mean, like if we're diving into like villains of the week, like I could, like I want to pull out like a Captain Cold. Like I think
Sure.
Bug-Eyed Bandit.
right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
There's like I could pull out a Heat Wave. You know what? It happened. I think this season, Superman Lois, but Bruno Mannheim might be one of the most underrated.
God, yes.
I think so.
He's
my
so
God.
good. Like he's not really a villain. Like all of season 3, I was like, okay, this is the episode he's gonna go mad and become a full-on villain. This is gonna be. It's like, oh no, he's actually kind of a chill guy. And then like I love his whole thing. I was like, yeah, but like he's right. He really is right. Like yeah, like you aren't saving. Like yeah, you're saving the world, but you're not fixing it. And like that whole thing coming full circle this season, being like, okay, but how do we fix it? Like you help us fix the world. I think is really really cool. I really like, and obviously this is one of my all-time favorites, but one of the more underrated ones. I think Joel McHale as like the Starman and stuff.
Oh, he was so good.
Oh yeah,
he's really good. Like when he
So
like,
good.
throws Pat inside of the grave and be like, "Sorry, Pat,"
Yeah.
or like, "Sorry, buddy," or whatever. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this is really good.
I forgot all about that. Joel McHale as Ultra Humanite. That was so good.
yeah.
I mean, can I say Legion of Doom? Like that's cheating a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But like that lineup is really sick.
No, that's fair
Bloodwork
game.
is great.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, no, I
Could've
mean,
been
there's
more
so
than-
many
they
great
could have
ones.
done Legion of Doom every few seasons or something. Don't know why they didn't.
You know what? I would have been okay if every
That would've
season it
been
was just a
fine.
new roster. Of
That would
those
have been a
villains.
perfect recurring joke too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll throw this last one out here because I thought about it afterward, and I didn't think anybody was going to bring it up.
Mhm.
He was a departure from his comic counterpart. I will fully admit that, but I actually kind of liked Ricardo Diaz in Arrow.
Yeah.
did too.
Yeah.
I actually kind of liked him.
Yeah.
Now,
was
could he have
good.
been better? Yes, but I do really like Kirk Acevedo as an actor, and
Mhm.
I thought he
Yeah,
definitely
he's
brought
good.
a lot to the role. So I will give him credit where credit is due there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes she wasn't my favorite. Like sometimes they gave her stuff that was stupid. But when Alice was good, she was damn
Yeah,
good. on
she was
Batman.
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
She was
Yeah,
good. Fun to watch.
that
for
early
sure.
confrontation where you have her and Kate in that diner and they're just going back and forth. I really like
Yeah.
that moment.
Yeah, she carried season 1. Like on its back. Like if she wasn't
Absolutely.
in that season, I think it would have been a much rougher watch.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because like especially when you get like Hush toward the end, that was definitely not enough to carry that season.
Yeah. Like I think by season 3, I was like, okay, I get the gimmick at this point. He's getting a bit old, but like
Yeah.
season 1, halfway season 2, she's great. This one might be our last one. I'm not sure, depending how fast we get through this. Who is... Oop, I didn't mean to do that one. Missed opportunities or things that we never got to see that we wish we could have seen. This
I actually
one...
wrote this down. Hold on.
Okay,
Whoa.
okay, we'll let you go first then.
Actually wrote a couple down too. Go ahead.
Because this is one we could go on for a while. I feel like we could be like, all right, pull out the list, all the things we never got to see.
Hold on.
What do you think about this?
I got you. I can have my own podcast episode about this and fill it up for like 5 hours. Oh my god!
And even then, you would still
have to have
more.
you back in like next year. Just be like, all right, let's talk about it.
If you ever need like a filler episode, like if you really can't figure out with anything, just put me on. Just me.
Hey, you know I'm good for that, Darren.
Let's see. The Rogues from The Flash. Let's just start out.
Oh yeah.
How did they never
do
that?
Properly do that?
No, and I've talked about this with both Connor and Darren before on Discord, where I was just like, they literally had the perfect opportunity to do it because sure, you had Snart and Heatwave go on to Legends, but you still had Killer Frost. Had they just committed to Killer Frost, which is another thing, had they committed to Killer Frost, she could have been the leader of the Rogues, and that would have been the main villain of season 4. Like, I don't know how. Like the Rogues is such an iconic thing from the Flash comics that they never once until the very, very end, and they still fucked it up. Where they're like, "Oh, we're just not gonna do the Rogues at all." Like, but you have all the characters introduced.
I hated when they were like, "These are the like new Rogues or like the young Rogues or whatever." It's like there was never
we never did them for
Exactly.
We never did the original ones. Like, so we had Golden Glider in the first season, and then just gone.
Yeah.
So and then they
can't be
never,
new or
remember
young.
Golden Glider?
Yeah, and then they never really got Mirror Master right.
Yeah.
Nope.
A good version of Mirror Master, like properly done, would have been so cool in The Flash. How did they not?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we kind of had her as a main villain, but like, I agree. I think a proper Mirror Master would have been really cool.
Because they tried it in season 3, didn't they?
Yeah, that
very
was
briefly.
Yeah, Sam Scudder.
Yeah,
That was a little weird. It was a little weird.
Yeah.
But the reason why it was weird, it was just because of the fact of like they were trying to replace the perfect dynamic with Snart and Rory with Mirror Master and Top. And it's just like, no. If you're trying to replicate what they had, you're gonna fail. You have to make them stand on their own things.
You have to make your own dynamic.
Exactly. Like if you're trying to replicate what was in the past, then you're doomed to fail.
Because it was the same thing when you got into season 2 of The Flash when they brought in Zoom. They weren't trying to replicate what worked with Thawne. They made it their own thing.
Exactly. Literally, exactly that.
And
So,
I think they put to bed any ideas that a second speedster wouldn't work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I think a lot of things in my list are just Flash.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got one that kind of just goes across all the shows. Really, is more central.
Go ahead.
So this one's more central to one or the other, and I say it goes across all shows because there were sprinkles of it in multiple shows. And this is probably an obvious one, so I'm just going to get it out of the way. John Diggle, Green Lantern.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah. They shouldn't have been teasing it
God.
if they couldn't do it. Don't tease it if you can't do it.
Get that out of the way.
Bro, John Diggle got the shaft so many times throughout the Arrowverse. It was first being Green. First it was the Suicide Squad show that never happened. Then it was being Green Lantern. Then it was his Justice U show that never happened either.
He thought that was going to happen too. He was convinced.
And then they promised him that he was supposed to be a major role in season 3, just for him to never be talked about or mentioned in season 3 at all of Superman and Lois. Like he got.
I think they say one line where they say that he told John Henry about Mannheim, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they once season 2, once the cliffhanger of season 2. Oh, hi, fiance. Once they were talking at the cliffhanger of season 2. I think it was one of the executive producers. They were talking about how we're gonna make John Diggle a recurring character.
Yeah, I remember
season 3. And then when I watched season 3, because I watched season 3 when it already aired. So when I watched season 3, I was like, and Diggle, where's he at? Yeah, where is he at?
Yeah. And
what's he doing?
That last episode of season 2 is where that's where they officially say that it's a different Earth.
Yeah.
And
that's what
in the episode with Diggle popping up exactly the way that he looked on the
Yes,
Flash when he
this was
appeared
my
right
point.
there.
This was my point.
He
Looks the
appears
same.
right there, same clothes, same hairline,
I don't
and he
get it.
goes to Todd
I don't get
Helbing, reads the script, says, "Hey, since this is a different thing, should I change my appearance up?" Todd Helbing said, "No."
Nah.
Like, nah, they won't
Like,
notice.
What?
We noticed.
Yeah,
They were
Yo, you go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
they were really close to making me like ruining John Diggle for me. Like all the appearances, all the teases, the Superman Lois thing. Like he almost came like a symbol of like the like disconnect with like the two universes. Where
Right.
I was like, if they just did a little bit more, I think I'd start hating John Diggle because I love that man. He's my
because
he's my
there were so
core.
many
But
theories that he would pop up in this last Superman and Lois season. I said, "God, no, please."
if Justice U would have happened on the Superman and Lois Earth, I think I would have started to hate John Diggle.
Yeah,
because
those
that's what they were
Superverse
saying.
Yeah.
rumors or
I'm
whatever.
super-
Superverse.
Listen,
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been okay with the Superverse, but having it the show to do that be Justice U is the stupidest thing I've
crazy.
ever heard.
Yeah.
Like it, like
High
if
schoolers,
you were like
people were saying.
Wonder Girl is like the we were doing a Young Girl spinoff.
Yeah.
It's in the universe.
Oh
as
my
Superman
God,
Lois or
Wonder
something.
Girl, that was
Yeah.
the thing.
Gara
Yeah.
Flor, yeah. They announced it before she debuted in comics.
Yeah, they
Yep.
were really banking on those comics, and then
You know what though? That's probably my first pick here is because I think they were really close to doing something really cool with like the next gen of the Arrowverse with Wonder Girl. We don't know if that was been Earth Prime or not. We weren't that far in, but like the idea of your next three main shows being Superman, Lois, Batwoman, and Wonder Girl, I think is
That's
really
right.
cool
Right.
because that like
That's
this
right.
full circle moment that like after they can't use some of these characters, you have
Yeah.
like the three kind of
The
figureheads
closest
of
things
the
we can
team.
get.
Yeah,
a
like that
version
would've been
of the
really
Trinity, like yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
Uh-huh.
Tracy 13?
Yes,
That was
I
supposed to
do.
be a show.
Nope,
That was
remember.
supposed to be a show.
And you know what else
Yeah.
was supposed to be a show? Green Arrow and the Canaries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
I wanted that.
I guess William's gonna.
I was
stay
actually kind of
kidnapped
heartbroken
forever.
about that one.
He's
Yeah.
gonna stay kidnapped forever, I guess. And
Hey,
they
Mia
could
was
have just
looking for him.
They could have just easily resolved it whenever they brought Mia back in Armageddon. Just like say you found him. Don't like
Yeah,
set it
because she
up
showed up
further.
looking for him. Didn't she?
Right.
Like they
Yeah.
thought they were doing
Yeah.
more.
She showed up looking for him. I was like, just say you found him. Don't
Yeah,
set it up. Wrap it up.
Right.
Oh, he's fine.
I'm-
It turns out he just
Right.
went on a night out or something.
Arrow season 9 Flash season 9
Arrow
did that a
season
lot.
9, what?
Where they're like,
Oh,
oh,
I
like
missed
we're
it.
bringing these characters back for their last appearance. It's like, okay, cool, we can wrap some characters up. No, let's set them up on new adventures. Let's set up Wally. Let's set up Dreamer. Let's
Right.
set up Mia. No, Eric, this is it. This is their last appearance ever. What are you
Aaron
doing?
talking to Eric personally, I love it.
Yeah.
Gonna ask.
Yeah, the only time they did it right in that season was with Oliver and Diggle.
Oliver and Diggle was nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of my ones isn't like I don't know if you could call it a missed, like something they didn't do. Like
Put it
it
on
probably was
camera
never
right now.
planned to do it, but
Right.
like I was really hoping. Oh, whoa!
Let's
No,
go.
the other way. Other way.
Let's go.
Let's find a way to
I
stop
like
love
a
it.
this from
cape.
coming.
I love it. But Legends, I 100% thought, once the time travel thing got used out by season 3 or 4, or after Crisis or whatever, once there was a new multiverse, it really should have become a multiverse show. Like it should have
Yeah.
been them
I agree.
switching it up, changing completely, starting to explore different.
Especially
arcs, keep
since
it fresh.
in Crisis, they literally were like, oh, I guess we did travel to multiple
Yeah.
Earths unintentionally
Yeah,
when
why
they went
did
to
they do
Future
that?
Star City.
That
That
didn't
was a
make
weird
sense, though.
change.
That
That was a
didn't make
weird
sense,
change.
though.
Yeah,
That didn't make
I
sense.
didn't like that. I thought it was a weird way to just like try and correct something that didn't need to be corrected.
Because there's
It's
continuity
only because of
Yeah.
it's only
those
because
two
of the
stars.
fact that they were gonna kill Green Arrow off, and it wouldn't make sense that in that same timeline, Green Arrow would be old and alive when they were literally gonna kill him off again.
Well, when they showed him old and alive, Flashpoint hadn't happened yet, so that could have easily been the thing that changed it.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't think of that.
Well,
Yeah.
wasn't there an interview where they said that Earth was actually supposed to be if Arrow seasons 1 and 2 happened, but nothing after it happened like normal? Like in the actual show, they talk about it as if it's the same Earth as when they went to Legends, but it like when they were writing it, they were like, let's write this Crisis and Earth version of Oliver as if seasons 1 and 2 happened like normal, but like other than Sarah coming back, everything is like different,
Right.
like none of the like the mythical like hero stuff happens, or like
That would make a lot of
Legend
sense.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where it's just like the entire journey is grounded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can I pivot off of your thing, Connor? Where like
go for it.
I really wanted. I think it's Arrow.
No.
I think it's Legend season. Oh, well, all right. I guess I'll go home. No, I think Legend
You're at
season
home.
5. like Legend Season 5, I think was very close to like I really wanted Legend Season 5 to be like a Crisis themed season, right? Like they're coming off a Crisis event, and I think it's such a missed opportunity to not use the Crisis changes as that storyline. Be like, we now live in an like we now live in an entire new history book. Everything is different now. Commit to that. Like that's so sick. You know what I mean?
No, all we get is the joke about Oliver dying and how he shouldn't have done the crossover, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. That's all you get.
Legends at that point wanted to be so separated from DC and like they didn't want to be in the Elseworlds crossover. They didn't want to be in Crisis. They were like told like, hey, we need to use your show for this. Like they really wanted to be their own separate thing by that point. And they like kind of hated being involved in anything.
I also remember being very pissed, like when Quentin died, being like, "That's a huge thing for Sarah. Her father just died. That's her heart and soul." Don't even mention on Legends. Not even a thing. They don't even.
The next time you see Sarah mention it is when she pops back as a guest on Arrow.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That Birds of Prey episode was awesome.
Well, that and then that one documentary episode that they did in season 7 too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah, that was
that one. That 150th is one of the best episodes of the show.
That's great.
Like, it's sick.
Yeah, it was such a milestone that they didn't need to celebrate either.
No,
no one
did
not need to celebrate it at all. They're like,
Flash did as well, but Flash's one was weird. Remember that there wasn't that season 8 or season 7 final, the 150th. So they made it like this big celebration
was
thing.
Was that the finale? Really?
So it was the one right before the finale.
Okay, the second
the penultimate.
Yeah, it was like part 1 of that Godspeed thing.
Yeah.
That's my favorite clip from the whole show, with Diggle being like, that particular comment didn't age too well.
Oh,
yeah.
They had Barry there messing with the
particular comment didn't age too well.
Yeah. That was a good episode.
David, when he said Justice U was happening.
Yep.
Dude. That's another thing he got shafted on. There was supposed to be a Diggle crossover. Like, it was supposed to be like he goes on these different shows and have a journey. But I think COVID mainly fucked that one up. But like he got shafted on that one too.
COVID fucked this whole universe in the ass. I'm sorry. Like they got like.
Oh wow. Okay.
No, it did.
Yeah,
I think you're not wrong.
And there was supposed to be a crossover between Superman and Lois and Batwoman. That never.
Can you imagine?
That actually my missed opportunity.
I'm wondering if, like, whenever they pitched that, I'm guessing Kate Kane was obviously still like as Batwoman.
Yeah.
I wonder if because it being Clark Kent and Kate Kane, would that have eventually led to Batman?
Yeah, because they had Bruce Wayne or like an actor playing Bruce Wayne in season 2 of Batwoman anyway, didn't they? Warren Christie.
Yeah,
like,
they were gonna bring Bruce Wayne back.
Yeah,
they were gonna bring him back, like for real.
Yeah.
I think that would have like I think the theme of that would have been like Batwoman versus Superman, because they had already set the whole thing up like, okay, you keep the like Kara's told Kate, keep the kryptonite just in case you ever need it. They're gonna do that crossover. I was like, oh, I think that's what they would have leaned to, which honestly maybe it's best they didn't. Like I feel like we didn't need more reasons to hate Kate, because I know a lot of people already did at that point.
But,
so
yeah, but like in hindsight, I think I think how they went out of the Arrowverse in season 2 is the worst possible way they could have done it. But those shows were all going to get cancelled anyway because this DC thing was going to happen. Is it better that Superman and Lois was off on its own so that it could get a final season like this? Or is it better it was wrapped up in the Arrowverse and maybe got cancelled when everything else did and didn't get it?
The thing for me about the Superman and Lois thing is just, it's not so much that I'm bothered by the fact of like it got disconnected from the Arrowverse. The thing that bothered me the most is that they try to gaslight us into thinking that was never the case in the beginning.
So bad,
yeah, and it's just like, what do you mean? Like, didn't you guys literally say there was a deleted scene where Lois was picking up a photo of her and Kara, and Morgan Edge literally in this season said, "You're not like the other heroes, Cal." And like, if he's the only hero, then what other hero would he be talking about?
They name drop Oliver.
Right.
Yeah.
And
they name dropped Oliver.
And they reference Crisis a couple of different times. So it's like, make up your minds. I mean, it was I think it was either a very late decision or they knew all along and just didn't want to tell anybody.
I think it was definitely a late season 2 decision, because I don't know why they'd bring back the Lucy Lane actress from Supergirl.
Yeah, the Lucy Lane actress.
That's such a deep cut. That's such a deep cut.
Yeah.
To go to the
especially since they brought no other actor for anything else. Like they had already recasted Sam Lane and Morgan Edge, but they later recasted Lex. So it's just like they're.
And also, like, I think that they were planning on teasing something, because, like, episode 2 of that season, Todd was like, just wait until the end of the season. Something really cool is going to happen. That would make no sense if it's like, haha, it's separate suckers. Like, that would make
fuck you.
Like, we tricked you. We tricked you.
We got you.
I wonder if they were trying to get Kara in the back half or something, where it's like because
Maybe,
it's a
yeah.
massive
Yeah.
event, right? Like the world's about to end at the end of the season, so it
Right.
makes
But
sense.
then again, it's like had they brought in Kara and then still made the decision to separate from the Arrowverse, I think that would just piss more people off. Because people were already upset at the fact of like, wait, you brought Lucy Lane back, but you're separate, and you still have Diggle. Like that's weird, but okay, because
Right,
it's Diggle,
yeah.
we can give it a pass. But if you brought Kara in there, I think the collective audience would have just been like, "No, you're wrong. Like it's in the
Yeah.
Arrowverse.
Yeah.
You can convince us
So-
all you want. It's in the Arrowverse."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if like with the Mirrorverse, if they were literally trying to be like they're on the mirror version or something, or like some version of that, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, like we're crossing over, but just to kind of separate it, which
And
might be
any way they
better,
could have
but-
explained it,
Yeah.
any other way that they could have explained it would have been better than the one we got.
Yeah. Do a
Yeah.
Barry thing where he accidentally goes too fast and travels between universes
Right.
again, like he did with Kara's Earth. Like
Yep.
something like that would be better.
And the thing is that like the decision of separating was something that not even the other Arrowverse shows knew, because sure, it was taking place in like Iris's like hallucination, like mind thing in the Mirrorverse, but at the beginning of season 7, which was supposed to be the end of season 6, Barry name dropped Clark. He was like, "Oh yeah, Clark recommended me about like the best food in Metropolis and stuff." So it's like, okay, so you guys are like on a texting relationship now.
You guys
Right.
know
So
we
you
Yeah.
clearly thought that Superman and Lois was in your universe. So even if it wasn't a last minute decision, they didn't even tell the Flash.
Nope.
During the season 2 premiere, they tweeted out that Natalie was going to school now on Earth Prime or something like that. Like one of
Yeah.
the tweets was like Natalie's first day on Earth Prime
Ah.
or something like that.
Oh
like
yeah,
like-
Yeah, and if you were to look at the Arrowverse wiki before that episode came out, if you were to look up Superman in there, it would say original universe, Earth 38, current universe. It said Earth Prime until
Yeah.
that episode came out.
You also
That's
had
right.
where like Eric Wallace tried to get Tyler for Armageddon and he couldn't make it because
Yeah.
scheduling. They were
Yeah.
that close, like it almost
yeah,
happened.
dude, yeah. The Earth Time comic books,
Yes,
Yeah,
which if
especially
you read those,
which makes it even better now with the way that this season of Superman and Lois ended,
Yes.
because it actually
works
lines up
into it.
perfectly.
Yeah.
right,
Because
Yep.
Superman is retired; he's just a farm boy now.
right, it makes
Yep.
perfect sense. Yeah,
so there's like one thing. This is like I guess a small little bit of a rabbit trail, but I don't know if this is necessarily wasted opportunity, because this isn't necessarily something we were promised, but something that I kind of had this idea, pardon the pun, I've had this idea in the pipeline for a while. And
Hey,
so you guys remember back, like as we were getting the lead up to Crisis, and they announced that there were two at the time unconfirmed DC projects that were going to be spinning off of that. And like we didn't know it at the time, but it was Superman and Lois, and then what didn't end up happening, which was Green Arrow and Canaries.
right.
that's right.
What I would have loved to see spin off of that, and let me just give you a little bit of a setup. During Crisis, whenever Kara and Kate go to Kevin Conroy's Earth, where you see that Bruce Wayne, it's the Earth 99, clear Batman Beyond reference, because the year that show started. I would have loved it if they showed Kevin Conroy there as an old man Bruce Wayne, and he is training a Terry McGinnis in the future, because it's Bat of the Future. It's literally in the name, and that's what you spin off to. You spin off into that series, so that way you still have a Batman, even though it's not Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And to go even a step further than that, I would have made him one of the 7 paragons that they're looking for, because not only would it have spread it
would've been
apart
better,
a little
yeah.
bit in the multiverse, but it would
Yeah.
also spread it across time, because it was a little funny that even though they said all across time and space, yet all paragons were in the present day.
Yeah.
So
That was one of my issues.
Yeah,
It was like
the-
a little convenient, the Paragons.
the fact that like you would have had a version of Batman in there and have a pretty damn near perfect version of the Justice League, even though like the best they could reach. But I've got like a whole pitch that I wrote for that like in my computer somewhere. I don't know if I'll upload it one of these days. I might. But just a way that series could have gone, and you could have actually gotten quote unquote Batman without it being Bruce. You could get away with it, and it would have pulled in some fans of Batman Beyond, which are starting to see a little bit more of a rise again lately.
Yeah, especially after that, the concept art or whatever they had.
Oh my
Like, you see
god,
people
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about it a lot.
And the fan film.
that would have been beautiful.
Yeah, the fan film. Yeah,
The fan film
Yeah.
as well. Yeah,
yeah. So
I actually have one
just
for
wanted to throw
Arrow.
that out there and see if that seemed feasible or not.
Yeah.
I have a
Crisis
missed
had-
opportunity for Arrow.
Yeah,
Perfect.
100%.
Perfect one. Well, on to the whole like pitching thing, where I would have liked to have seen like what the original plan for Arrow was. I think Connor might know what I'm talking about here, where it's
With
just
the
like,
flashbacks.
yes, because it's like it was clear that. I mean, I think what was it? It was either Berlanti or Kreisberg said it in an interview like years ago, where it's like they weren't necessarily planning to have a universe, but like once they saw the opportunity, they just took it.
Yeah.
But
I think that was
Arrow's
Berlanti. Yeah.
yeah, it's like Arrow was supposed to be its standalone thing, and the flashbacks of Arrow, the whole story of Arrow was only supposed to be 5 seasons, and each of the flashbacks was supposed to connect to everything. We were supposed to get like a Suicide Squad show, right? That's a missed opportunity right there. I think season 3 is, I mean, this is purely speculation, but you could clearly tell season 3 was heavily rewritten, because the first half of season 3, they were very much leaning into like Argus being very shady. There was even, what was that guy? What was like Mark something when they went to Corto Maltese, where he was like, you can't trust Amanda Waller. Like they were clearly setting up Amanda Waller to be like the main antagonist of season 3. But I guess because that Suicide Squad plans fell through because of the movie, they had to like erase it and then like last minute write like a League of Assassin storyline. And I'm just like, I would have loved to have seen it, because they've originally said that the flashbacks for season 3 was supposed to be Oliver's time in Hong Kong discovering the team that Yao Fei was supposed to be on, the Great 10, which if you look up what the Great 10 is in the comic books, it's the Chinese Justice League. It's the Justice League of China. And like we could have gotten such a very different season 3. And I feel like the common rhetoric between the season 3 flashbacks of Arrow was like, it was like kind of pointless. Like you clearly knew that they did not know what to do for this season. Like he's in Hong Kong and that's it. But
I mean, we got Katana, but that was about it.
Yeah,
that was literally it. Yeah.
Man,
I agree completely. It's Arrow in general. Like they got screwed over more than once by WB and DC in the movies, just out of nowhere, being like, "Ooh, we actually kind of like."
Because wasn't Slade supposed to be like a bigger role in season 6?
Yeah, Joe was supposed to be the main villain of season 6, right? And it was supposed to be like
Joe was. That's right.
It's Oliver and Slade versus Joe, I think.
Because Manu refused to come back for a while, but then when he did agree to come back, they wanted to use him a lot more. Like after season 3, he wasn't happy with how they handled him, but then he came back finally. 5, they were like, "We're going to use you a lot in season 6," and they couldn't.
And then you know what the super hilarious thing is? So rewind all the way back to 2017. That night in the theater when I went and saw Justice League, they have the end of Deathstroke. What's airing that night on CW? An episode of Arrow with Deathstroke in it.
Yep, season 6, episode 6.
And nobody gave a shit. It wasn't a problem.
And nobody cared.
Right, like no one is confused. I don't know why Warner Brothers thought that their audience were just the most incompetent people ever, and they would be confused by it. And the fact that you literally have, whenever you get to Crisis, you have the 2 popular live action Flashes on screen at the same time, so that argument does not have any weight anymore.
Yeah.
Where Grant Barry gives Ezra the name The Flash. Like,
right, and that Flash movie being in demand at all was due to the show being popular.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have like, I'm sorry. I
was just going to say that Flash movie being in demand at all was due to the show being popular.
Yeah.
100%.
I have 2 right before we wrap this up. Like, we have to mention the original Crisis. Like, you have to wonder what that original Crisis looked like with the Hawk Girl and
that's
the
right.
Ray
Hawk
and
Girl,
like
the original timeline, yeah.
Yeah, you have to wonder, and I always wanted like
a Hawk Girl show.
What's that?
There was supposed to be a Hawk show.
Yeah, the Thanagarian stuff in season 1 was supposed to lead to like a big invasion, and that would be in a show.
And then going back to the whole Manu stuff, he wanted a Deathstroke spinoff.
Yeah.
And no one would have watched that.
Has to be like limited series. I feel like a one-off, like little, like 8-episode thing. I think would be cool. But also, I think it's a shame he did nothing like Kaiden's Young Justice kind of like oriented. Like I think everything around those characters, like I think both Wally West and Arsenal were so underutilized. Like
they never met.
The fact that those that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
That. I mean, I could tangent again, just be like, okay, Wally West as a whole, like they botched that man so badly.
Both of them are criminally underused in their shows.
Yeah,
like both Roy and Wally are barely in the shows that they should be in.
If I was a god, I would take the cast of that Titan show, put it on the CW, add Arsenal and Wally West, and give it like a Because I think Titans would be a much better show if it was on the CW. Like I think a lot of my problems with that show, I think the CW does better. So I think give it like a 15 episode season, like flesh those characters out, give them like a like a serialized big baddie season where like, because I think ensembles on the CW normally do pretty well. Like if you like those or not, like I think would have done better.
They wanted the other shows to be ensembles so bad. Like notice how in Arrow and Flash they like dropped the main character as like the main pivotal focus by the third season came out. So like they wanted it to be an ensemble from the beginning.
So I'll say that at least Arrow was still able to keep its focus relatively, but then when you get to the end of Flash, especially the fact that your lead character, your title character, is not around for a third of the season, that's unforgivable.
Yeah,
Supergirl was also really bad about that, where it's like you clearly just want to do a Super Friends show at this point. Like,
Kara was in the Phantom Zone for
they were gonna do a whole season without her.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
They were gonna do a whole season without her.
And the original plan too for when Barry goes into the Speed Force, I'm pretty sure they were gonna do like a whole first half of the season without him.
No.
No. That's crazy.
CW would not allow shows to delay filming, so they were like, "Look, if you don't have your actors, like, fill around them."
And you can tell that
not having Grant is crazy to me.
You can tell that the creators, you can tell that the creators of Supergirl were pissed at how everything went down because they didn't even do exit interviews.
Yeah.
They did it's like standard procedure in Hollywood. No matter how bad the show is, you still promote the show. And they didn't even do that. Like the Supergirl finale aired, and they just never talked about it.
Right, like no one even knew.
Yeah, like that makes me think like they were so beyond pissed off, like with everything that happened.
Black Lightning were also pissed. Those
Black
guys
Lightning,
were mad.
I mean, Black Lightning was pretty much canceled. They don't want to say it, but as a show,
the fact that one of the actresses like was gonna leave after season 4, and she was like, I didn't even know it was gonna end. Like I was done after season 4.
And we were supposed to get a Painkiller spinoff.
We were.
Oh my god,
that was so weird.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
They pitched that wrong. Like Painkiller was never going to pick up. Like
I feel like that never
happened.
He was a cool character. But
I like Painkiller, but I don't think he could have held his own thing.
It would have had the same problem as the Deathstroke spinoff, where it's just like too much of him would have gotten really annoying really quickly.
Yeah.
I do want to do just one final thing here. We've been going 2 hours, but I do, just to wrap it all up, I do want to ask what are 4 hours? Let's do it.
Darren,
who are some of our favorite DCTV characters, just in general? Like, there's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of big ones. It's hard because there's just like 5 million characters that each show has introduced. But what are some of our favorites? Which one?
Supergirl one. The one that has like carpet glued on him.
One that looks like a Power Ranger villain that was like a Power Ranger villain action figure or something.
Yeah.
Do you want to see if everybody can name different characters? Like maybe like everybody takes 5 that are different.
Sure. Go ahead.
I like that.
Okay.
Pretty dumb.
Jake, start with you then, since you pitched it.
Yeah, it's your idea.
Okay. So I'll pick some big names, but also I won't, just so some big names are left.
Cool.
I'll say Green Arrow. I'll say Deathstroke. I will say Arsenal was one of my favorites.
Ooh,
and to deviate onto the other shows, I'm going to say Martian Manhunter and
good one.
Damn it, Steel.
That was good.
Oh yeah, I like that one. Okay. I would say Superman. Everyone was thinking that.
2 favorites are taken.
Yeah. Like Superman. I mean, like the fact that he like never lost hope throughout the entirety of the show.
Yeah.
Never loses hope. Like I love how serious the show and how dark the show could be, and it still felt wholesome at the end of the day, just because of him.
Yeah.
Just because of him. Yeah. I would say another big name, or not so much of a big, because it's like the forgotten middle child of the Arrowverse, but Black Lightning himself.
Yeah.
I just really like the story arc of like someone who used to be a superhero and is coming back out of retirement just to like kick some ass one last time. I just love that concept. For some smaller names, I would say now this is where it gets hard. I would say probably as like a freak of the week, I would say Farouk from like season 1 of The Flash, the power outage
Yeah.
episode. That guy was scary.
Oh,
That guy was
yeah.
scary.
Okay.
He was genuinely terrifying.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, like I was like, he was genuinely like I still think of that episode to this day just because of how terrifying that guy is. Like if he was actually a real character and was fleshed out, I feel like he could have easily been like one of the most horrific, terrifying villains that Flash would have ever encountered. And he barely encountered himself.
Yeah. I remember that episode just because they referenced Ralph Dibny.
Ralph Dibny, yeah.
Ralph Dibny.
There's a few people in that, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, he's dead, and and like 4 years later, we're like, we thought he died.
He's
but there's
back.
a Flashpoint,
And then he's gone.
Yeah, and they literally make that joke in season 5. It was like there might have been a multiverse where I was dead. And I'm like,
yeah,
and then at the end
bro.
they're like, "You're supposed to be dead."
yeah. Let's see, that's 3. Hold on. For 4, I really liked just to be different, the sidekick character from Supergirl in season 3. Like the metahuman who we still don't know the origins of, by the way. Like they literally mentioned the fact that like she's not alien, she's a metahuman. And I'm just like, but how the fuck? Like what are you talking about?
I'm looking her up because I have no idea who you're talking about.
It was when she was teaming up with Livewire and Imra to go to that planet where like no men were allowed in, like anyone who had a Y chromosome. She was in that episode too, and she was like one of the strongest sidekicks. She beat Martian Manhunter in a sidekick battle.
Miss Martian?
No, Martian Manhunter.
No, but like, it wasn't Miss Martian?
No,
Was it?
it was like a blonde girl. Hold on.
Oh, was it that one that has like the blonde girl that has like a domino mask on her face?
It was the girl that like gave Supergirl panic attacks.
Oh, I do remember.
I need to
that
rewatch
episode.
season 3.
It was like what, episode 3 of season?
It was
3 or
early. It was
something?
early. Hold on.
I think I do remember that episode.
I don't remember that at all. Wow.
Yeah, I'm completely blanking on this.
Hold
one.
on. I'm gonna pull up the
crazy.
photo right now.
Okay, in fairness, Adro did just rewatch every Arrowverse show
Yeah,
within
he
the
did.
last
Yeah.
year.
Like a year ago. So like
yeah.
Yeah, I said I don't remember that one at all.
this girl. Hold on. Focus.
Okay.
Oh,
I do
okay.
slightly remember
Yeah.
it.
It's
She
slightly
was
Interesting.
she was
That's
like
a deep pick.
yeah.
I was
I'm
thinking
trying to
like,
I'm trying to go
alright.
for deep, so none of you guys get like you guys still have.
I was like,
options
are they
here.
gonna go Flash? Are they gonna go?
Yeah, Barry Allen. I'm kind of a fan of all
Tag
of them.
Harris.
Tag, yeah, tag's cool.
Tag Harris. I actually wonder to this day what happened with him.
I think he was supposed to be Justice U back when.
I
it was
do-
all
yeah,
I do
Flash.
think that.
'Cause he says
Probably.
he's going to a metahuman school or something in season 1.
I do think
He's
that's
going
what's
to a
gonna
school for
happen,
the
but we could have
gifted.
at least brought him
Yeah.
back.
And Flash
one
had
with the
Saturn
phone?
Girl, which I thought was also getting set up for Justice U.
Flash-
I'm glad they didn't because I didn't need her more of her. But
Well, Supergirl also had Saturn Girl.
yeah,
it's
but like that was our 38, right? So they could have
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was before. That was
Crisis.
when they do Legion of Superheroes. And then my final one, probably, I would probably just say Roy Harper, just because I love that guy so
Roy is
much.
cool. Roy's very cool.
Like Roy is so cool, so underutilized, but that's really not the show's fault in a way, because I think the actor himself wanted to leave the show because of like some like personal reasons. Like he was going through a lot mentally. I think that's what he said. So like
Yeah.
we were supposed to get a lot of Roy Harper, but I think the actor had to bow out. So
right.
Yeah. So I just thought about this. So one of ours are different, or one of ours are the same, but that's actually not a problem because while you were doing it, another one popped into my mind. So I can give you Roy for yours. So
you just said Roy. Bye-bye.
Oh, no problem. No, that's fine. I can give you Roy for yours, and in place of me saying that, I can't believe I didn't think of this earlier, but I'm going to say Jake Garrick.
Jake Eric's good. Jake
Yeah.
Eric's
You mean the
good.
early season 2 evil zoomed
Oh,
out
yeah.
Jake Garrick, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's talking about.
No, but no, I just love that is the perfect legacy role for John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah.
And they nailed it.
Yep.
How about you, Connor?
Well, Oliver Queen and Clark Kent are my 2 favorites, but they're taken. So
Sweet
I'll go.
For
For the other ones, I'll go for a big one. I'll pick Kara. I love Supergirl so much. I think she's, other than Oliver and Clark, she's my favorite like main on any of the shows. Shadow, I thought was really, really, really cool.
Shadow.
Yeah.
In season 1
Damn.
and season 2, I thought she
Her
was
comic
really,
counterpart is a monster. Like she's
Her-
not a
her-
nice person.
She is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love what they did with her in the show.
Oh yeah.
Pat from Stargirl is like the
Pat.
perfect character. He's
Damn
just so
it.
good.
Respect.
You can say Pat.
Respect.
I know Darren loves Pat. Or who else? Tommy Merlin. I was a big fan of Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh,
in Arrow season 1.
Tommy.
That still hurts.
Yeah.
To
I
this
know it's
day.
alive,
Should've
but
been
that still
me.
hurts.
I
And they
still
only killed
think
him
he
because
should've
we
been-
liked him so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they need a likable character to kill off to hammer home how horrible Oliver is gonna run away and live on Lee on you again at the end of season 1. And then for a final, I guess I want to pick someone from Superman and Lois just to have some representation in that. Let's been like
Thaddeus Kilgrave.
I could. Well, I'll pick a Stanley from Arrow instead. The same actor. No,
Out of
The
everybody
Star
from the
City
prison,
Slayer?
yeah,
out of everybody from the prison, he picks Stanley.
I'll pick Stanley.
Star City Slayer?
The
You know
Star
what?
City-
You know what? I respect it.
No, not Stanley. Who from Superman
Why
Lois? I
not?
pick?
I thought it was.
Ali
Stanley.
No one has his Lois yet.
No, Lois. There you go. It's
Lois. Fuck,
Yeah,
you're right.
Damn. Oh, wow. No one has.
But what are
also
you
say
going to choose now, Darren?
No, I have my 5. Although Lois
Oh,
could have
okay.
easily been mine.
Okay.
I have weird picks though. Has anyone said Barry yet? Is he
No,
still
no
on
one
the
said
table?
Barry. I think we
No,
left
actually,
that for
yeah, go
you.
ahead.
I'll give Barry. He'd probably be my 5th pick actually, but I was like, yeah, he's on the
Whoa,
table.
you hate Barry.
No, I mean I love Barry.
He
Like he's
does.
been
Okay.
like he's the like at this point. I know Arrow started it, but for me, like Barry's like kind of like
Yeah.
the symbol of this universe at this point. He brings everything
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Can't go wrong. I love Martin Stein with all my heart and soul. I love that man. I think
Damn,
he said
that's. Oh.
Most emotional death. Well, no, I
I
think
completely forgot about Legends for this one. You're so right. Damn.
Oh, now, wow. I feel so bad now.
I
feel
think
so bad now.
I think Superman and Lois has surpassed Martin Stein as the saddest death in like.
you
the
know what?
DCTV stuff.
I think you're right. I think you're
That's
right.
true.
but-
But before that, it was Martin.
So
I-
for me,
Absolutely.
it was Oliver in Crisis until this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Stein has one of the greatest arcs in like these
Oh,
shows.
yeah.
Like, because it's such short-lived. Like the asshole old man who learns the, it's like it's nothing
Yeah.
groundbreaking, but it's also so good. And I think like his dynamics. With
If it
Jax
works, it
is
works.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Connor took Pat, but I'll go Sportsmaster because I also
he's
love
great.
Sportsmaster.
Great.
I think he's fantastic.
There's so
I'll
many.
go.
So
I'll
many.
go Amaya from Legends of Tomorrow as well. I
Amaya's great.
love.
Wow,
Oh,
really?
All right.
Okay.
She might be one of my favorite, like favorite one of those characters. And then,
I really liked her
I
until
know.
she came back as well. Didn't she come back as another character in like season 4?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Charlie.
Charlie.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, Charlie.
No,
I
I
really
was sort of
liked Maya
indifferent to
until-
like either of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Cisco. Love me some Cisco. Like,
Oh yeah.
basic, but like he hearted the Flash for me. For
I would have
years.
chosen Cisco, but like season 3 of The Flash really ruined Cisco
That's
for me.
fair.
Yeah.
Like
it really
he really became so insufferably annoying. Oh, Joe
Harry, you're
West!
the
Why didn't no
worst.
one say Joe
God,
West?
Yo, West was up there too.
I was gonna pick
Oh.
Harry. I love Harry.
I was also I was thinking about this. I was gonna pick Ray Palmer. I love Ray so
Yeah.
much.
Ray's good. Ray's good.
I mean, go ahead, pick other ones that you also we
Yeah.
could-
Yeah.
Don't gotta be
Go ahead.
5.
I pick
Go
Oliver.
ahead.
I pick
Uh,
Oliver.
I was gonna say I love Connor Hawk too.
Connor Hawk's great.
Oh,
I pick
yeah.
Oliver from 2046.
There you go.
Whoa. I pick Earth X Oliver.
I picked Clark Kent.
The
From
Nazi?
I take it back. I take it back.
I picked Clark Kent from Earth 96.
Oh, damn.
I know
that's
he's used
good.
too much,
Damn.
but like
I pick
Thawne,
Earth 38
Kingdom
Clark.
Come Superman. Kingdom Come Superman.
That's what I just said.
Oh, you oh damn, you did.
Tom Welling Superman. Because I guess that's also in it.
Depowered.
Yeah,
The one
Powered.
from Crisis.
yeah, the one that's empowered.
Yeah.
Earth 166.
Actually,
is that what it is?
one thing I meant to say about Superman and Lois, I completely forgot. It is crazy how both of the fake outs for like the main villains, they ended up circling it back somehow
Yeah.
anyway.
Yes.
Like but
Yeah.
like they faked out Bizarro being Doomsday, but then he ended up being Doomsday, and then they faked out Steel being Luther, but it ended up being
Ended up
Luther's
being
suit
Luther.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was
Really
that's
well done.
beautiful. That was
It's so well
wonderful.
written.
This
Shout
shit-
out to Diggle too. I don't think anyone said
Yeah.
Diggle, but he's up there.
Because
Because he just kept
He
appearing,
catch-
man.
Dude, yes, that's literally it.
Yes,
That's
Captain.
literally it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the
It's
stuff
like-
like him fighting Oliver, like that scene between him and Oliver arguing in season 6 is so good, but Diggle's also
Yeah.
such like a hypocrite.
Yeah, like with Diggle, I no longer feel like good feelings about him. I just feel pity just
Yeah.
because of the actor.
Yeah.
Just
When
because
he
of the
popped up
actor.
before, it was like, oh, Diggle. Yeah.
Constantine. Constantine's really
Constantine's
good.
great.
Constantine was really good.
Yeah.
Earth 2 Laurel.
Probably, I would say Constantine. I would go as far as say Constantine's probably the most comic accurate the Arrowverse has ever done on any character ever. Like they
Yeah,
really hit
I
the
agree.
nail. They really hit the nail on the head when it came to Constantine.
Hey.
There.
What's up? I had to turn off my camera.
There it is. Now you figured it out.
The final shot of Constantine's first episode where he like lights his hands on fire and then he's just kind of standing there with all the
The thing,
demons or whatever
his
coming in.
goodbye
So good.
episode was actually pretty solid too. I just
Yeah.
wish they committed on killing him. Like, I don't like the fact that he's still technically alive, wandering around, basically like purified or whatever. I was like,
Right.
no, man. The way Constantine's character is, it's very similar to Oliver's. They both are just such self-sabotaging people that the only way both Oliver and Constantine were gonna have to end is that they die. Like those two people were destined to die just because of what kind of people they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're still muted.
Oh, he's not muted, so I don't know.
I think Constantine's line in the flashbacks really sells it. He goes, I'm on the side of the angels when they're not trying to screw me over.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know who was my favorite for years, but I think kind of fell off later seasons? I used to love Sarah. Sarah was my girl.
Sarah in Arrow season 2. Sarah in Arrow
Yeah.
season 2 is
Oh my
Sarah
god,
in-
yes.
Sarah in Arrow is like a completely different character than
Yeah.
Sarah in
Yeah.
Legends.
I think
absolutely.
Black Canary is just another missed opportunity. of
Oh
the
yeah,
Arrowverse in
like,
general.
That's a whole different conversation.
there was like 8 of them. Like they kept spawning out of nowhere. We're like, all right, there's a new one now.
There's a
Yeah.
network of them now.
Yeah, no, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Canary Network.
I made a video at some point like ranking all the Black Canary characters, and there was like 8, 9 I was ranking. It was like so many, like too many.
Actually, 8 of them.
And
And there's something
Yeah.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a good amount.
That's
It's like
embarrassing.
Evelyn from season 5, and it's like
Oh,
those
yeah.
versions.
Oh, we're counting her. Okay.
yeah, and
Oh,
I guess
that was
while we're sticking
Artemis.
on, I
Yeah,
guess
but in
while-
season 4, she stole the Canary stuff.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess while we're sticking on the Lances, one of my favorites was Quentin. I love Quentin. so
Quentin.
much.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He needed to die in season 6. I'm not gonna lie.
Cities
I
on fire
agree,
again
I
must be
agree.
May.
Like he
a
needed
great
to die in season 6 because I feel
Yeah.
like by the time he was in season 5, I still liked his storyline, but I was just like, we're pushing it.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
we're
yeah,
pushing it.
but then when they bring that other Laurel back, it's like, okay, this is his final run. This is the last thing he needs to do.
Last thing they can do, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mentioned
I feel-
Martin, but also Jax as well. Like
Jax.
Jax. was there
Jax.
for me.
Jax was okay. I feel like they could have kept him. I don't know why they decided to
I
get rid
agree.
of him.
Yeah,
They had
know
the
why-
fire totem like that season. I
Right.
said, give him the fire totem. He can still be Firestorm
Yeah,
in
I
a
don't know
different
why
way.
they got rid of him. They had it. Like,
Yeah. Or bring in like Lily, like the granddaughter. Like they could have
Yeah.
like merged together. That could have been cool. There was options there for sure.
that would have been
Um,
really funny because she would have brought in Ronnie, like baby Ronnie.
Ronnie.
That would have
yeah.
been a comedic episode all of in itself. How like no one could sleep because baby Ronnie wouldn't shut
Uh-huh.
the fuck up.
It'd be Mick.
Yeah.
It'd be Mick being like, "All right, kid,
Yeah.
come with me," or whatever.
And then
him as
literally, and then Mick would be the one to like figure it out, and it's just like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah, you just gotta rob
like
him.
he did in Crisis with Baby Jonathan.
You know what? Mick is a missed
Right.
opportunity. I think
Big, yeah.
they dropped the ball on Mick because like
And they just didn't know
said-
what to do with him, I feel like.
I
they were just
felt
kinda
like-
doing
absolutely.
whatever.
They
In
killed the
season-
wrong one off. They killed the wrong one off. They killed the wrong one off.
Yeah.
I agree.
I had a whole thing in season 3 where like he like the whole ship's going crazy. He's like, no, you do this, you have to go do this, and Ray's like, you have leadership potential. I think that would have been a great way to end the show with having like Sarah and Ava leave the show and Mick being the only season 1 person left, being like, well, I guess I'm captain now. Let's do this kind of thing, and his whole thing coming full circle, like start saving him in season 1. Now he's the captain of the team. I think that would have been sick, but I don't know.
Right.
Remember him being Kronos?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
never,
Yeah,
what did he have,
everyone
like
else were
100
not.
years of being an assassin or something, and they
That
never
was a
go
cool
back?
story. I would have liked to
Yeah,
have
no
seen
one
that.
talked about that. He's actually significantly older than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Like
like
biologically speaking, he's a
PTSD
lot
he'd have
older.
from that.
he's
Yeah.
like 1,000, right? Or something crazy. Like
Yeah.
he's like
And like that would have fit well because like not only is he a time traveling villain, but he's a villain of the Atom, which was both on Legends, like the Atom's on that show, and it's a time travel show. So you had
Yeah.
good potential there. And speaking of Atoms, another missed opportunity, Ryan Choi.
that is
Yeah.
true.
I think
Yeah.
they shouldn't have introduced him in Crisis. I think they should have waited and done that in Legends after Crisis.
They
I-
Yeah,
very
because they're going to get rid of
clearly-
Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like they clearly wanted a like Adam show with Ryan Choi. Like Chainsaw, who was here earlier, he interviewed him after Crisis and said he was at that table at the end of the Crisis event. He was supposed to
Yep.
be on the Justice League, and it was
He had a
cut.
seat, yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like
That's
what a
Ray.
like what an industry I don't know, like plant, right? Where he's just like, yeah, I'm here now, I
Yeah,
guess.
that
Nope.
would have come out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
No,
that was
literally.
before Ray left Legends. Like
Right, right.
Ray was-
Ray is canonically
was
still
still
a hero
there.
at that time. Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's funny how they introduced a character like Ryan Choi, and like none of the shows wanted to do anything with him. Like they
Right.
were all like, no, you do something with him. I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Superman Lois
Right.
like, we're not actually
Yeah.
over there anymore, so you guys have to take him.
And I
Crisis
think-
aged horribly because we had the Mia stuff that went nowhere. We had the Kate stuff that obviously didn't go nowhere. We had the Ryan stuff that went nowhere. Like it's kind of a
I
mess
do-
now when you look
I
back
do
at
think-
it.
Sarah's in
that
prison
Crisis-
now, so
Yeah, I do think Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think part of the reason why it's not that great of a crossover is that over time it does kind of sour, knowing that none of the
Yes.
things that they
Nothing
introduced went
happens.
anywhere. Because I feel like a lot of people would have
Yeah.
appreciated the crossover more if we actually did things.
a Kingdom Come
Right.
miniseries.
Saw one Justice League team up.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a Justice
all
League team
off-screen.
up off screen.
Yeah. They fought
Which
Faust.
I
was
mean,
it
I
Felix Faust?
appreciate them at least for
Yeah,
doing
Felix
that. Like,
Faust.
it's nice to know that
Yeah.
they're doing it off screen.
Yeah.
But that could have been the Earth Prime comic book, though. Like they could have just made the comic
right.
book that, so we would at least have something. But now we literally
Right.
don't have anything. Like we
It-
don't
it,
have
it wouldn't
anything.
have cost anything to write books.
That
Right.
Earth Prime comic book set up a crossover on screen. It's like, oh, something's coming. It's like, all right.
Oh
when?
yeah, didn't it?
Yeah,
end
Oliver
with
shows
to
up
be
with that weird
continued?
look.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Oliver
it literally
shows up.
ends with to be continued on Flash season 9, and then you watch
Yeah.
season 9 and like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
Like, what are they continuing?
Yeah.
Then they're like,
Literally
oh, you've
nothing.
been canceled, and you've been canceled, and you've been canceled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Magog. Remember that guy? Completely not even muttered
Gone.
in the show.
Gone.
Nope. It's crazy. All right, I could do this for
Yeah.
hours, but I do feel
Yeah,
like I
we
should
could do
probably.
this for hours.
I have to say goodbye, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This was fun though. I had an absolute blast today.
Same. It was really fun.
Thank you
Same.
everyone who joined in today. Obviously, shout out to Ben and Jordan who were here earlier chatting with us. Absolute pleasure. One by one, we'll talk. Just Connor, starting with you. Where can people find you? Where are you?
Eggs over here, just everywhere, pretty much. That's it.
Wow, straightforward. I
Adriel-
like it.
Adriel, is there anything
Um,
that you're wanting to? Anything?
You can find me walking around the grocery store with a Grinch blanket and some pajama pants with Santa drinking a cold one.
Oh, that really is a cape.
That
That's
is
great.
very cool.
Yeah. Other than that, I am Adriel, the author, on like everything. I'm on Blue
yeah.
Sky, Instagram, TikTok. That's it.
Amazing. And Jake, you're making a movie, right?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of a slowdown there, but it'll
gotcha.
eventually happen.
It like
Nice.
eventually. Is there anywhere people can find that? Like when that day comes?
So I'll have a separate channel for like all of those things.
Gotcha.
Like that'll be its own little network, just because that's one that me and my crew are gonna have together.
That makes sense, yeah.
But as far as just this, going to be doing a lot of DCTV talks with, the end of this era and the start of a new one. And then the normal stuff that I do alongside that, which is, of course, the Arkham rankings, the retro reviews, character games designs, and yeah, pretty much whatever I feel like sprinkling in between that. So something for everybody.
Absolutely. Sounds like a blast, man. And again, thank you everybody for being here.
Thanks for having me.
My stuff in
having
terms
me.
of
Thanks for
of course,
having me.
guys, of course. In terms of my stuff, after the credits will be next Tuesday. We're talking Creature Commandos, Skeleton Crew next week. I'm very excited to hop into those. And Pipeline hopefully next Thursday. We're doing our Iron Man 2 retrospective. let's see how that one aged. And
Hey,
then,
well, you know what? You know what? The stuff it was setting up actually happened.
You know what? Yeah,
He set up
a
a
couple
Justice
things.
League team up, and their Justice League team up happened.
Yeah,
Yep.
close enough. Close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you guys on the flip side.
Jesus.
Darren